Beneath the ancient pyramids and forgotten cities lies a civilization whose wisdom and resilience still echo through the ages. What secrets did the Maya hold? And how do their timeless lessons shape our world today? The Maya civilization, one of the most advanced and captivating cultures in pre-Columbian America, flourished in the dense jungles and sprawling lowlands of Mesoamerica. Spanning the present-day regions of southern Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, Honduras, and El Salvador, the Maya built a civilization that reached its height during the Classic period, from around 250 CE to 900 CE, but had its roots much earlier, with the beginnings of agriculture and city building dating back to as early as 2000 BCE. Despite its eventual decline by the late 9th century, the Maya left an indelible mark on the world, with their achievements in writing, mathematics, astronomy, and architecture. The civilization's heart lay in the Yucatan Peninsula and the dense rainforests of the southern lowlands. Over time, the Maya expanded across the region, establishing some of the most impressive cities in the ancient world. These cities, such as Tikal, Palenque, Copan, and Chichen Itza, were not only political and religious hubs, but also centers of intellectual and cultural activity. The Maya constructed towering pyramids, intricate palaces, and sprawling plazas, many of which still stand today, whispering tales of their former grandeur. The grandeur of their cities, however, was matched only by the complexity of their society, which was deeply influenced by religion, a strict social hierarchy, and a sophisticated understanding of the cosmos. The timeline of the Maya civilization is often divided into three main periods: the pre-classic, 2000 BCE, 250 CE; the classic, 250 CE, 900 CE; and the post-classic, 900 CE, 1500 CE. Each period saw the evolution of Maya culture, with the classic period marking the peak of their power, where city-states like Tikal vied for dominance, and advancements in science, writing, and art reached remarkable heights. By the end of the 9th century, however, many of the great southern cities fell into decline, their reasons still hotly debated by scholars, ranging from environmental stress to warfare, political instability, and agricultural failure. What makes the Maya civilization truly remarkable is its contributions to human history. They developed an intricate writing system that used hieroglyphs to document history, religion, and politics, leaving behind codices and inscriptions on monuments that reveal much about their world. Their calendar system, which was one of the most accurate in the ancient world, demonstrated a profound understanding of astronomy. They accurately tracked celestial movements, using their observations to shape the rhythm of their society. Beyond their scientific prowess, the Maya were also skilled artisans, creating stunning pottery, jade jewelry, and murals that continue to captivate modern audiences with their beauty and precision. Though their civilization ultimately faded with the arrival of Spanish colonization in the 16th century, the Maya legacy endures today through their descendants, who continue to speak the Maya languages and practice many of the traditions that have been passed down through generations. The Maya civilization, with its achievements, mysteries, and eventual decline, holds a significant place in world history, offering valuable lessons about human innovation, resilience, and the delicate balance between civilization and nature. The origins of the Maya civilization trace back to the early pre-classic period, when the first inhabitants began settling in the dense jungles of southern Mesoamerica. While the Maya would become known for their impressive cities and achievements, their roots are deeply tied to the early stages of agricultural development in the region. It is believed that the Maya people were part of the broader cultural mosaic of Mesoamerican societies, emerging from the complex interplay of earlier cultures that laid the groundwork for the great civilization to come. By around 2000 BCE, the Maya were living in settled communities, practicing agriculture and cultivating crops in a region rich with natural resources. The influence of earlier Mesoamerican cultures, particularly the Olmec civilization, played a crucial role in shaping the early Maya. The Olmec, often referred to as the mother culture of Mesoamerica, laid many of the foundations for the Maya. From the Olmecs, the Maya inherited important cultural elements, including religious practices, architectural styles, and the early development of writing and calendars. This early exchange and assimilation of cultural ideas helped the Maya refine their own societal structures, religious beliefs, and technological innovations over the centuries. Central to the success of the Maya was their mastery of agriculture. Early Maya farmers began cultivating the rich soils of the lowland jungles, where they grew a variety of crops that would sustain their growing communities. The most significant of these was maize, corn, which became the cornerstone of Maya agriculture and diet. Alongside maize, the Maya also domesticated beans, squash, and other crops that formed the basis of their staple food sources. The Maya's agricultural prowess was not merely a matter of planting seeds. It involved the careful cultivation of the land, the management of water resources, and the rotation of crops to maintain soil fertility. Their deep understanding of the natural world allowed them to thrive in an environment that many might consider inhospitable. In addition to their agricultural innovations, the Maya also relied on the domestication of animals, though not to the same extent as other ancient cultures. They raised turkeys and dogs, which provided food and materials, but their primary focus remained on plant-based agriculture. The surplus of crops that the Maya produced allowed for the development of complex societies, where specialized roles emerged, including artisans, traders, and religious leaders. This surplus also enabled the Maya to establish permanent settlements and eventually build the great cities that would define their civilization. Through these early developments, the Maya gradually shifted from small agricultural villages to larger, more complex communities, setting the stage for the rise of one of the most advanced civilizations in the ancient world. Their agricultural foundation, along with the cultural influences of earlier Mesoamerican societies, allowed the Maya to build a civilization that would last for millennia and leave a lasting imprint on history. Religion was the lifeblood of Maya culture, shaping every aspect of their daily lives and governing their worldview. The Maya were deeply spiritual people, with a pantheon of gods and deities that represented the forces of nature, fertility, the underworld, and the cosmos. Central to their belief system was the notion of cyclical time and the interconnection between the heavens, earth, and the underworld. The Maya believed that the gods controlled everything from the rain to the harvest, and it was through rituals, offerings, and ceremonies that the people sought to appease these gods and maintain balance in their world. Temples, often towering structures, were built in the heart of their cities, where priests performed elaborate rituals to ensure prosperity and divine favor. The Maya also practiced a complex understanding of the cosmos, incorporating celestial movements and the sacred calendar into their religious observances. The early Maya had social structures that were closely tied to religion. At the top of society was the king, often seen as a divine figure or representative of the gods on earth. The king's role was not only political but also religious. He was the intermediary between the gods and the people, ensuring that the cosmic order was maintained. Beneath the king were the nobility, priests, and scribes, who played important roles in the administration of the cities and in religious life. The rest of the population, which included farmers, artisans, and traders, formed the backbone of Maya society. These commoners were essential to sustaining the civilization, working the land, creating art and goods, and contributing to the city's economy. The Maya's deep belief in the interconnectedness of their world extended to their social structure, where each individual had a role that was necessary for the community's well-being. As the Maya society evolved, so too did their systems of governance. Early Maya communities were organized around powerful families or clans, each with its own leadership and influence. Over time, As population centers grew, the political landscape shifted, and more centralized forms of governance began to emerge. Leaders of these city-states, known as Ajor, were responsible for both governance and religious duties. They held absolute power and were considered divinely appointed, with their rule legitimized through their connection to the gods. The rise of the first Maya cities, such as Nakbe and El Mirador, marked a significant shift in the way these societies functioned. These cities, which began to emerge around 500 BCE, were built with monumental architecture, including large plazas, pyramids, and palaces, showcasing the increasing complexity of Maya governance and culture. The growth of these urban centers also led to the development of trade networks that spanned vast distances, allowing the Maya to exchange goods, ideas, and innovations across Mesoamerica. The cities became cultural hubs where art, science, and religion flourished in tandem. The rise of the first Maya cities also marked the beginning of a shift from small, agrarian settlements to large, urbanized centers of power. These cities were not just political capitals, but were also cultural and religious epicenters that served as the stage for the development of one of the most advanced civilizations of the ancient world. The Maya were on the verge of an era where their culture would reach remarkable heights, with their achievements in mathematics, astronomy, art, and architecture, leaving a lasting legacy for future generations. The first Maya cities began to take shape around 500 BCE, with Nakbe and El Mirador standing as some of the earliest and most significant examples of Maya urban development. These cities were monumental in scale, with vast plazas, impressive pyramids, and expansive residential areas that demonstrated the growing complexity of Maya society. Nakbe, located in the southern lowlands of the Maya region, emerged as a powerful center, boasting some of the earliest examples of Maya monumental architecture. El Mirador, situated a bit farther north, followed suit, with its massive structures and wide-reaching influence across the region. These cities were not mere settlements, they were the beating hearts of Maya civilization, each serving as both political and ceremonial capitals that brought together the surrounding villages and smaller communities. The cities played a vital role in the Maya's extensive trade networks. Positioned strategically, they acted as hubs where goods from far and wide were exchanged. Obsidian, jade, and textiles were traded alongside agricultural products, creating a flourishing economy that allowed these cities to thrive. The exchange of these materials did not only support the Maya's economy, but also helped spread cultural ideas, technologies, and religious practices. Trade routes connected the early Maya cities with other Mesoamerican cultures, including the Olmecs and Teotihuacanos, influencing their development and facilitating the growth of an interconnected world of city-states. One of the most striking features of the first Maya cities was their architecture. The Maya were master builders, and their cities were a testament to their advanced construction techniques. They made extensive use of locally available materials like limestone, wood, and adobe to create vast platforms, pyramids, and palaces. Their largest structures, such as the pyramids of El Mirador, were built using a combination of stone and rubble, allowing the Maya to craft towering edifices that reached impressive heights. The Maya also pioneered the use of corbel vaults, an innovative technique where stones were stacked in a way that created a vaulted ceiling, a crucial development for building large ceremonial buildings and tombs. The construction of these cities was a massive undertaking, requiring skilled labor, organization, and coordination. The planning of these cities was equally sophisticated. Streets were carefully laid out, and the cities were often organized around a central plaza, which became the focal point for religious and political activities. The temples and pyramids were aligned with celestial events, further demonstrating the Maya's deep understanding of astronomy and their ability to incorporate this knowledge into the very fabric of their cities. Nakbe and El Mirador laid the groundwork for the more advanced Maya cities that would come in the following centuries, such as Tikal and Calakmul. They were not just centers of power and trade, but also the cultural and spiritual epicenters that would define the Maya civilization for centuries to come. Their architectural achievements, along with their role in trade and culture, marked the beginning of a sophisticated urban civilization that would leave an indelible mark on Mesoamerican history. The classic period of the Maya civilization, spanning from approximately 250 CE to 900 CE, marked the pinnacle of their political and cultural achievements. It was during this time that the Maya reached new heights in governance, art, and scientific discovery, establishing themselves as one of the most advanced civilizations in the ancient world. The period is defined by the emergence of powerful city-states, such as Tikal, Calakmul, and Palenque, each of which would leave a lasting legacy on the Maya world. Tikal, located in the Guatemalan lowlands, rose to prominence as one of the most influential cities during the Classic period. Its enormous temples and pyramids, particularly the iconic Temple 4, were not only architectural feats, but also symbols of Tikal's political and religious dominance. Calakmul, a rival city-state to Tikal, was located farther north and became one of the most formidable forces in the Maya world. The rivalry between these two cities fueled a series of conflicts and alliances, which greatly influenced the political landscape of the Maya lowlands. Meanwhile, Palenque, situated in the Chiapas region, became renowned for its art, architecture, and intellectual achievements, including the reign of its greatest ruler, Pakal the Great. The rise of these city-states marked the peak of Maya civilization, each city playing a significant role in the cultural and political dynamics of the region. They were not just centers of political power, they were vibrant hubs of culture, trade, and religion, where elaborate rituals, monumental constructions, and scientific advancements took place. These cities were connected by a network of trade routes, which facilitated the exchange of goods, ideas, and technologies, contributing to the shared cultural identity of the Maya civilization. One of the most remarkable achievements during the Classic period was the Maya's advancements in writing, mathematics, and astronomy. The Maya developed an intricate system of hieroglyphic writing, which was used to record historical events, royal lineages, and religious rituals. These glyphs were inscribed on monuments, pottery, and codices made from bark paper, preserving the Maya's rich cultural heritage for future generations. Their writing system, along with their calendrical records, provides invaluable insights into their understanding of history and the cosmos. In mathematics, the Maya were pioneers, using a base 20 numeral system and incorporating the concept of zero long before it was utilized in other parts of the world. This allowed them to perform complex calculations and track astronomical events with incredible precision. Their knowledge of astronomy was similarly advanced, as they developed highly accurate calendars, including the Tzolk'in and the Hab, which guided religious ceremonies and agricultural activities. They also mapped the movements of celestial bodies, such as the Sun, Moon, and Venus, using their observations to time important events, from warfare to ritual ceremonies. The rise of the Classic period marked a time of intellectual, artistic, and political flourishing for the Maya. The city-states of Tikal, Calakmul, and Palenque became the focal points of a civilization that was defined by its advanced knowledge of the world around them. These advancements would influence generations of Maya and leave a profound impact on Mesoamerican culture long after the Classic period came to an end. Maya writing, one of the most sophisticated systems of writing in the ancient world, was an integral part of their culture and civilization. The script, known as hieroglyphics, was a complex combination of logograms and phonetic symbols, allowing the Maya to record their history, religion, and daily life with great precision. This system was used not only for monumental inscriptions on temples and stelae, but also for codices made from bark paper, which contained intricate records of political events, genealogies, and astronomical data. The script was a reflection of the Mayas' deep connection to their past and their understanding of the cosmos. Unlike other ancient writing systems, the Maya hieroglyphs were a combination of both ideographic and phonetic elements. Some symbols represented entire words or ideas, while others stood for sounds, similar to an alphabetic system. This blend made the Maya script both visually striking and capable of conveying complex concepts. The Maya scribes, highly trained in the art of writing, were responsible for transcribing the history and beliefs of their people. These scribes were often revered and played crucial roles in the political and religious life of Maya cities. They not only recorded the deeds of kings, but also chronicled the movements of celestial bodies, which were seen as vital to the Mayas' understanding of time and their place in the universe. The codices created by these scribes were not just historical records, but sacred texts, written on long strips of bark paper and folded accordion style. These codices contained detailed information about the Mayas' calendars, astronomical observations, and divinatory practices. The codices served as tools for the priests and rulers, guiding them in their spiritual and political decisions. In a culture so intertwined with the divine, the written word held immense power, as it was believed to carry the authority of the gods themselves. Maya writing was more than just a means of communication. It was a way to preserve the legacy of their civilization. Through their written records, the Maya ensured that their history would endure long after the rulers and scribes who created them had passed. The importance of these written documents cannot be overstated. They allowed the Maya to remember and honor their kings, gods, and the events that shaped their world. Without this written language, much of what we know about the Maya civilization would have been lost to time. Today, the decipherment of Maya script has provided scholars with invaluable insights into the ancient world of the Maya. By studying the glyphs, historians have been able to reconstruct the timelines of Maya rulers, their political alliances, and even their religious beliefs. Despite the challenges that remain in fully understanding all the nuances of Maya writing, the surviving inscriptions and codices continue to shed light on one of the most sophisticated cultures of the ancient world, allowing us to glimpse into a past that has shaped the history of the Americas. The Mayas' relationship with the stars and celestial events was more than just an interest. It was a deeply woven thread that connected their daily lives to the divine and the cosmos. They believed that the movements of the heavens held powerful significance, influencing everything from agricultural cycles to political decisions. The Maya were keen observers of the sky, dedicating countless hours to tracking the positions of planets, the moon, and especially the movements of the sun and stars. Their intense focus on astronomy led them to develop some of the most advanced and accurate systems for tracking celestial bodies in the ancient world. Central to Maya astronomy were their two primary calendar systems, the Hab and the Tzolkin. The Hab was a 365-day solar calendar used for agricultural and civil purposes, aligning closely with the solar year. It consisted of 18 months, each 20 days long, with an additional month of 5 days, making it a total of 365 days. This calendar was vital for the Maya, as it allowed them to predict the seasonal changes that were crucial for their farming practices. The Tzolkin, on the other hand, was a 260-day ritual calendar, often used for divination and religious ceremonies. The Tzolkin was composed of 13 months, each with 20 days, creating a cycle that was used by priests to determine auspicious dates for events and to guide spiritual practices. What made the Maya calendar systems extraordinary was not only their complexity, but their interlocking nature. These two calendars ran parallel to each other, with each date being represented by a combination of both the Tzolkin and Hab. This dual calendar system allowed the Maya to track time on multiple levels: secular, religious, and agricultural, while also providing a framework for understanding the cycles of life, death, and rebirth. The precision of their calendars was remarkable, reflecting the Mayas' deep knowledge of the movements of the celestial bodies and their ability to integrate this knowledge into the fabric of their society. The Maya were not just content with tracking the movements of celestial bodies, they sought to predict future events based on these observations. They used their calendars to forecast eclipses, the movements of Venus, and other astronomical phenomena, which were seen as omens or divine signs. For the Maya, celestial events were powerful markers of time, signaling everything from the beginning of a new era to the ideal times for military campaigns or the coronation of rulers. Their ability to predict such events with great accuracy was a testament to their advanced understanding of astronomy and their commitment to weaving the stars into the very fabric of their civilization. In this way, time for the Maya was not simply a linear progression, it was cyclical and tied to the heavens. Their calendars provided a cosmic framework through which they could align their actions with the divine, ensuring that they lived in harmony with the rhythms of the universe. The legacy of Maya astronomy and their complex systems of timekeeping continues to resonate today, showcasing the profound connection they had with the cosmos and their remarkable ability to understand and predict the movements of the stars. Maya religion was a vibrant and complex system, deeply ingrained in every aspect of their daily lives. The Maya were polytheists, worshipping a vast pantheon of gods, each representing various elements of nature, the cosmos, and human experience. These gods were often seen as powerful forces that governed everything from rain and agriculture to the movements of the stars and the fate of rulers. At the heart of their beliefs was the understanding that the gods maintained a delicate balance between order and chaos, and it was through rituals and ceremonies that the Maya sought to honor, appease, and connect with these divine beings. The Maya pantheon included a wide array of gods, with some of the most important being associated with the natural world. Chark, the god of rain and storms, was central to Maya agricultural practices. As rain was essential for crops like maize, Chark was revered in rituals, especially during the rainy season, when his favor was sought to ensure a bountiful harvest. The gods of the underworld, such as Xibalba, and the gods of death, like Arpuch, were also significant in Maya religious thought, as the Maya saw death as an essential and inevitable part of the life cycle, connecting the mortal world to the afterlife. The gods of the sun, moon, and Venus also played important roles, symbolizing light, fertility, and the cycles of life. Rituals and ceremonies were central to Maya religious practice. These events were carefully timed according to their calendar systems, ensuring that they occurred during auspicious times. Ceremonies were not just acts of devotion but were often intended to influence the natural world. Offering blood sacrifices, burning incense, and presenting food or precious items were common practices meant to appease the gods and seek their favor. In some instances, rituals could be quite dramatic and included human sacrifice, particularly during times of great need or crisis. These offerings were believed to nourish the gods, ensuring that the world would continue to function harmoniously. The role of priests and shamans was pivotal in Maya society, as they served as intermediaries between the gods and the people. Priests, often well-educated in the sacred knowledge of the calendars and rituals, conducted ceremonies in the grand temples and performed sacrifices to appease the gods. They also interpreted omens and divine messages, guiding the people in matters of state, war, and agriculture. Shamans, on the other hand, were more closely connected to the spiritual world through their practices of healing and divination. They often used trance-inducing substances and rituals to communicate with the supernatural, offering guidance and protection to individuals and communities. In Maya society, the religious elite held considerable power, as their connection to the gods was seen as essential for the well-being of the people. It was through their intervention that the Maya believed they could ensure the continued success of their civilization, from the harvests to the health of their rulers. The deep integration of religion into every facet of life allowed the Maya to view their world through a spiritual lens, where the sacred and the mundane were intricately tied together. The gods were not just distant figures to be revered, they were active participants in the daily rhythm of life, guiding and shaping the Maya world in profound ways. In Maya belief, the underworld, known as Xibalbá, was a realm that lay beneath the surface of the earth, a place filled with both peril and mystery. Unlike the traditional conception of the underworld in many other cultures, Xibalbá was not merely a place of death, but a complex and active domain that governed fate, life, and the afterlife. It was viewed as a dark and foreboding space, where the spirits of the dead would travel on their journey to the afterlife. But Xibalbá was not just a final resting place. It was a realm of trials, challenges, and transformation, one that symbolized the cyclical nature of life and death. The most vivid depiction of Xibalbá comes from the Popol Vuh, the sacred book of the Quiche Maya, which recounts the creation myths and the adventures of the hero twins, Hunahpu and Ixbalanque. In the Popol Vuh, Xibalbá is portrayed as the domain of the lords of the underworld, who are depicted as malevolent figures intent on testing and tormenting the souls of the dead. The hero twins, in their quest to defeat these gods, are subjected to a series of trials within Xibalbá, each more challenging than the last. They must navigate a series of dark, dangerous places, such as the House of Cold, the House of Jaguars, and the House of Darkness, all of which symbolize the dangers and obstacles one must overcome in life and death. Ultimately, the hero twins triumph through their wit, perseverance, and bravery, symbolizing the Maya belief that death was not the end, but rather a transformation that could lead to rebirth. The role of Xibalbá in Maya religious practices extended beyond just myths and stories. The underworld was deeply integrated into the Maya understanding of the cosmos, and its significance was reflected in their rituals. The Maya believed that every aspect of life, from birth to death and beyond, was connected to the forces of the underworld. Rituals to honor the dead often involved symbolic representations of Xibalbá, where the Maya would create altars or offer sacrifices to appease the lords of the underworld. These sacrifices were not just offerings of food or precious objects, but sometimes included bloodletting or even human sacrifices, meant to maintain balance between the living and the dead, as well as to honor the transformative power of the underworld. In many ways, Xibalbá was the mirror of the world above, representing the darker aspects of existence, including suffering, danger, and the inevitable nature of death. However, it was also a place of potential for growth and rebirth. The Maya viewed the underworld not just as a place of punishment or fear, but as an essential component of the cosmic cycle. The trials faced by the souls in Xibalbá, much like the trials faced by the hero twins, were seen as necessary steps in the journey of transformation, where death gave way to new life. The underworld, therefore, was not just a place of endings, but of beginnings, where the balance of life and death was perpetually renewed. Maya art is a window into the civilization's rich and complex worldview, offering insight into their beliefs, politics, and daily life. The Maya expressed their artistic prowess through a variety of mediums, including sculpture, murals, and pottery, each reflecting the profound connection between the material and spiritual realms. Sculptures, often made from stone or jade, were used to depict rulers, gods, and other important figures. These pieces were not just decorative, but served as powerful symbols of authority and divine favor. Many of these sculptures were placed in temples, palaces, and public spaces to communicate the legitimacy and power of the ruler, reinforcing their connection to the gods. Murals, too, held significant meaning in Maya society. Painted on the walls of elite homes, temples, and ceremonial centers, they often depicted scenes of religious rituals, the lives of rulers, and mythical narratives. One of the most famous examples is the murals found at Bonampak, where vivid, colorful paintings illustrate elaborate ceremonies, including bloodletting rituals, the presentation of captives, and scenes of Maya elites participating in sacred rites. These murals were not merely artistic expressions, but visual records that captured key moments in Maya history and culture. The images on the walls often carried deep symbolic meaning, connecting the human experience with the divine and reinforcing the cyclical nature of life, death, and rebirth. Pottery was another important medium for Maya art. It was not only functional but often highly decorative, with intricate designs that reflected the cosmological and religious beliefs of the people. Vessels and plates were adorned with symbols of the gods, scenes from creation myths, or representations of ancestors, often highlighting the connection between the living and the spiritual world. These pottery pieces were used in both everyday life and in ceremonial contexts, where they might hold offerings or be used in rituals meant to honor the gods. The artistry of these objects often conveyed the importance of the natural world, the gods, and the forces that shaped their lives. Maya art was filled with symbols that conveyed deeper meanings. The use of glyphs, stylized images, and motifs all had specific significance in conveying messages about the Maya worldview. Many symbols were associated with specific gods or aspects of their religion, such as the jaguar, representing power and the underworld, or the bird, symbolizing the heavens and the sun. These symbols were more than just decorative elements. They communicated ideas about the cosmos, divine forces, and the relationships between gods and humans. In the political sphere, art was used to legitimize rulers, reinforce social hierarchy, and showcase military victories. Depictions of rulers on stone monuments, for instance, were often accompanied by inscriptions that recounted their deeds, military triumphs, and divine approval, asserting their authority over the land and people. Through art, the Maya conveyed complex messages about their gods, politics, and culture. The visual imagery in their murals, sculptures, and pottery served as powerful tools for communication, allowing them to express their beliefs, celebrate their rulers, and preserve their history. Every artistic creation was a piece of the Maya's larger cultural tapestry, offering a glimpse into their sophisticated society and spiritual depth. Maya architecture stands as one of the most impressive achievements of this ancient civilization, with towering pyramids and majestic temples that have left an indelible mark on the cultural landscape. The Maya were master builders, and their monumental structures not only served religious purposes but also reflected their understanding of the cosmos, power, and social organization. The layout of Maya cities was highly intentional, with each building and structure carefully planned to align with both the practical needs of the people and their spiritual beliefs. Cities like Tikal, Palenque, and Chichen Itza were designed as living embodiments of Maya cosmology, with temples, palaces, and pyramids symbolizing the connection between the earthly realm and the divine. One of the most iconic architectural features of Maya civilization was the pyramid. These colossal structures, often stepped and towering, were designed to honor the gods and serve as the focal point of religious rituals. The most famous example of Maya pyramids is El Castillo at Chichen Itza, also known as the Temple of Kukulkan. This pyramid, with its precise astronomical alignments, was not just a temple, but a tool for the Maya to mark celestial events, such as the spring and fall equinoxes. On these occasions, the shadow of the serpent god Kukulkan appears to slither down the steps of the pyramid, symbolizing the descent of the deity to earth. This captivating visual display highlights the Maya's deep understanding of astronomy and their ability to integrate it into their architecture. Equally significant is the Temple of the Inscriptions at Palenque, a masterpiece of Maya architecture and one of the best preserved buildings in the ancient world. This temple is not just known for its striking design, but also for its role in the interconnection of religion, politics, and art. The temple, dedicated to the Maya ruler Pakal the Great, contains elaborate inscriptions that tell the story of his reign and his journey into the afterlife. Inside the temple, the sarcophagus of Pakal is surrounded by stunning carvings and hieroglyphs, offering a glimpse into the sacred and ceremonial nature of the structure. The pyramid itself, with its towering presence, was meant to reflect both the power of the ruler and the divine connection that elevated him above his people. Maya cities were carefully organized, with their layout often centered around these pyramids and temples, which served as both political and religious hubs. The surrounding buildings, including palaces and ball courts, were strategically placed to form a complex urban environment that facilitated social and ceremonial activities. The city of Tikal, for example, was arranged around a central plaza where large temples and pyramids overlooked open areas used for public rituals, showcasing the unity of the Maya people in both civic and religious life. The architecture of the Maya civilization continues to stand as a testament to their ingenuity and spiritual depth. The pyramids and temples they built were more than just structures. They were expressions of their worldview, integrating cosmological knowledge with artistic design and serving as lasting symbols of Maya culture and belief. The structure of Maya society was deeply hierarchical, with each city housing a complex system of social classes. At the top were the elite, the rulers, priests, and noble families who wielded significant power. They lived in grand palaces, often adjacent to the towering pyramids and temples, their homes a reflection of their status. These elite members of society held vast amounts of land, controlled trade routes, and oversaw religious and political affairs. They were considered the intermediaries between the gods and the people, often performing sacred rituals and ceremonies to ensure prosperity and stability. Beneath them were the scribes and artisans, skilled in writing, art, and craftsmanship. These individuals played crucial roles in maintaining the culture and history of the Maya civilization, preserving the legacies of the elites through written texts and intricate artwork. Next in the social structure were the traders, an essential part of the Maya economy. Traders traveled vast distances, bringing goods such as obsidian, jade, feathers, and cacao to various cities across Mesoamerica. They were vital in the exchange of not only material goods but also ideas and culture, linking different regions of the Maya world. While they held a respected position, they were not considered part of the elite, as their wealth came from commerce rather than inherited status. Laborers and farmers formed the backbone of Maya society, working the land to produce the food that sustained the entire population. These individuals, while crucial to the Maya economy, were often bound by strict social roles. They lived in modest homes made of wood, stone, and thatch, typically near agricultural fields or small village centers. Their daily lives revolved around farming staples such as maize, beans, and squash, which made up the foundation of the Maya diet. Their work was grueling, but it was vital to the sustenance of the elite and the city as a whole. At the very bottom of the social hierarchy were the slaves, who were often captured during warfare or were born into servitude. They performed the most menial and labor-intensive tasks, including construction, carrying goods, and working in the fields. Despite their essential role in society, slaves had no personal freedom and were considered property. Women in Maya society held significant, yet often overlooked roles. While they were primarily responsible for domestic tasks such as cooking, weaving, and caring for children, they could also influence society in more profound ways. Noble women, in particular, had the opportunity to wield power, especially as queens or high-ranking consorts of rulers. They could act as regents, advisors, or even military leaders in certain circumstances. The roles of women were also deeply connected to religious practices, as they participated in ceremonies, often serving as mediums for divine will or performing important rituals. Daily life in Maya cities was simple, yet intricately tied to culture, religion, and economy. Families lived in homes made of wood and thatch, typically grouped together in villages that surrounded the larger ceremonial centers. Food was central to Maya life, with maize forming the foundation of their diet. They also consumed beans, squash, and chili peppers, along with a variety of fruits and meats, which were often prepared with great care and ritual. Clothing was typically made of cotton, and wealthier individuals wore ornate textiles, jewelry, and featherwork, while commoners had more modest attire. In this highly structured society, every individual had a role to play, from the elite overseeing religious ceremonies to the laborers tending to the crops. These layers of social order, though distinct, were all essential to the functioning of Maya cities. Warfare was an integral part of Maya civilization, deeply woven into both their culture and daily life. Unlike the large-scale wars seen in some other ancient civilizations, Maya warfare often took the form of smaller, intense conflicts focused on specific objectives, such as gaining territory, capturing prisoners, or asserting dominance over rival city-states. The Maya believed that warfare was a way to honor the gods, and it was closely linked to their religious practices. Victories in battle were seen as divine blessings, while defeats were interpreted as signs of divine displeasure. Military strategies in the Maya world were highly tactical and based on the geography of the region. Maya warriors often fought in dense jungles or mountainous terrain, which required nimbleness and knowledge of the land. Armies used surprise attacks, ambushes, and raids to outmaneuver their enemies. Warfare was not always fought in the traditional sense of pitched battles. Many times, Maya conflicts involved capturing rival leaders or warriors for ritual sacrifice. These captives, often from defeated city-states, were seen as valuable offerings to the gods, and their capture was as significant as the military victory itself. These captives were often treated as trophies and displayed before being sacrificed in grand ceremonies. Weapons used by the Maya were diverse and purpose-built for close combat. They wielded spears, wooden clubs, and macuahuitls, a kind of obsidian-edged sword, which was effective in both cutting and thrusting. Archery played a crucial role in Maya warfare, with warriors using bows and arrows crafted from wood, bone, and stone, often tipped with jagged obsidian for maximum lethality. The Maya also employed defensive tactics, utilizing shields made of wood and animal hides to protect themselves during battle. With the rise of more advanced metallurgy, some Maya city-states, particularly during the Classic period, began to use metal tools and weapons. Though obsidian remained the preferred material for many weapons due to its sharpness and availability, conquests played a critical role in the rise of powerful Maya city-states. Cities like Tikal, Calakmul, and Palenque grew in influence and strength through their military campaigns. These city-states engaged in constant rivalry, with territorial expansion, control of trade routes, and dominance over neighboring regions as their primary motivations. Success in war allowed these cities to grow in wealth and prestige, as conquering new land meant new resources, tribute, and the opportunity to expand their influence. The defeat of a rival city-state often led to the establishment of a new ruling dynasty or the strengthening of the power of a local ruler, bolstering the city's prestige and its connection to the divine. The rise of these powerful city-states through warfare was also reflected in their monumental architecture, such as grand temples and palaces built to honor both the gods and the warriors who brought glory to the city. However, despite their military might, the Maya never formed a unified empire. Instead, their civilization was a collection of fiercely independent city-states, each with its own rulers, often at odds with one another. This fractious nature made the Maya world both dynamic and unstable, with frequent shifts in power as new rulers rose to prominence and older ones fell, often as a result of war. Maya warfare, while deeply religious, also played a crucial role in shaping the political landscape of the civilization, forging the rise and fall of powerful states and determining the balance of power across the region. The legacies of these conflicts are etched into the ruins of their cities, where monuments and stelae often commemorate great victories and military leaders, serving as a testament to the importance of warfare in Maya culture. Trade played a central role in the Maya economy, serving as the lifeblood of their vibrant civilization. The Maya were not isolated. Rather, They were active participants in a vast network of trade that spanned Mesoamerica and beyond. Their trading connections stretched from the highlands of Guatemala to the lowlands of the Yucatan Peninsula, and even further to the Gulf Coast and central Mexico. This extensive network allowed the Maya to exchange goods, ideas, and technologies with other Mesoamerican cultures, enriching their own society and making them a key player in the region's economic landscape. One of the most valuable and sought-after items in Maya trade was obsidian, a volcanic glass used to make sharp blades and tools. Obsidian was highly prized for its cutting edges and was essential for both everyday life and religious rituals. It was not found in abundance across the Maya heartland, so the Maya depended on trade to acquire it. Jade, another precious material, was also heavily traded. Known for its beauty and rarity, jade was used in the creation of jewelry, ceremonial masks, and ornaments. The Maya associated jade with fertility, life, and the gods, making it both a symbol of wealth and an important religious artifact. Cacao, the base of the famed chocolate, was another significant trade commodity. The Maya used cacao beans as currency and consumed them in ceremonial drinks. The beans, highly valued for their taste and economic utility, were traded over great distances, facilitating connections with distant cultures. Textiles, including finely woven cotton and intricate garments, were also important items of trade. These textiles were not only practical, serving as clothing and coverings, but also held symbolic meaning, often decorated with vibrant colors and patterns that reflected the wearer's status and cultural identity. The trade routes that connected the Maya to other Mesoamerican cultures were extensive and well established. These routes traversed through jungles, mountains, and rivers, linking the Maya cities to regions rich in resources. The merchants who traveled these routes were a powerful class within Maya society. They were known for their ability to navigate vast networks and manage the flow of goods between cities, making them both wealthy and influential. The Maya merchant class played a key role in economic transactions, facilitating the exchange of goods like pottery, textiles, and agricultural products. They often traveled in caravans, carrying goods to distant lands and returning with valuable commodities from foreign territories. These merchants helped to spread cultural practices and innovations as they traveled, contributing to the Maya's adaptability and their ability to incorporate new ideas into their society. Trade not only bolstered the Maya economy, but also shaped their social and political systems. City-states that were located along major trade routes or had access to valuable goods like jade or cacao often became more powerful, as their wealth allowed them to support large populations and maintain military dominance. The flow of goods facilitated alliances and rivalries, influencing the dynamics between different Maya polities. The wealth generated from trade, alongside the exchange of goods, played a pivotal role in the development of Maya culture and society, leaving an indelible mark on their legacy in Mesoamerican history. The Maya civilization thrived in the tropical jungles of Mesoamerica, an environment both challenging and rich in resources. Over time, the Maya developed a deep understanding of their surroundings, learning how to adapt and utilize the land in ways that allowed their society to flourish. The dense, humid jungles of the lowlands posed unique challenges, from unpredictable rainfall to harsh seasonal fluctuations. But the Maya met these challenges with ingenuity and adaptability. One of the Maya's most significant achievements was their ability to transform the dense jungle into productive agricultural land. They developed sophisticated farming techniques, including raised fields and terracing, to cultivate crops in areas where the soil was not naturally fertile. These techniques allowed them to grow staple crops such as maize, beans, and squash, as well as cacao, which was highly prized in trade. The Maya understood the importance of managing water resources, constructing reservoirs, and creating extensive canal systems to regulate irrigation, ensuring that their crops thrived even in the midst of seasonal droughts. However, Despite their advanced agricultural practices, the Mayas' relationship with nature was not without consequences. As their cities grew and populations swelled, so did the demand for resources. This led to large-scale deforestation, as vast areas of jungle were cleared to make way for farming, construction, and urban development. The deforestation not only disrupted local ecosystems, but also affected the Mayas' ability to sustain their society. Soil erosion became a growing problem, as the once thick forests that had protected the soil were replaced by agricultural fields. This degradation of the land made it increasingly difficult to grow enough food to feed the population. The role of the environment in the decline of the Maya civilization is a subject of much debate among historians and archaeologists. While there is no single cause for their collapse, many scholars point to environmental factors, particularly deforestation and soil depletion, as significant contributors. The once fertile agricultural lands became less productive over time, leading to food shortages and increased pressure on urban centers. The environmental strain was compounded by political instability, warfare, and climate changes, such as prolonged droughts, which further stressed the Mayas' ability to sustain their way of life. Despite these challenges, agriculture remained at the heart of Maya society. The cultivation of crops was not only essential for feeding their growing cities, but also intertwined with their religious and cultural practices. The Maya believed that the fertility of the land was a gift from the gods, and agricultural cycles were often linked to their spiritual rituals. The rise and fall of their crops mirrored the rise and fall of their cities, reflecting the deep connection between the Maya people and the land they depended on. In the end, the Mayas' relationship with nature was both a testament to their ingenuity and a reminder of the delicate balance between human activity and the environment. While they excelled in adapting to their tropical surroundings, their eventual decline serves as a poignant example of the challenges faced when that balance is disrupted, and the long-term consequences of unsustainable practices. The Maya elite, particularly the kings and queens, held a crucial position in society, their roles deeply intertwined with both political and spiritual life. Maya rulers were not merely political leaders, they were seen as divine figures, intermediaries between the gods and the people. Their authority was grounded in religious belief, and they were responsible for maintaining the cosmic order, ensuring harmony between the human world and the spiritual realm. The concept of divine kingship permeated every aspect of their rule, with the king often regarded as a direct descendant of the gods or as a representative of the sun god, a vital force for life and prosperity. One of the most renowned Maya rulers was Pakal the Great, who reigned over the city of Palenque from 615 to 683 CE. His reign is considered one of the most prosperous in Maya history. Pakal's contributions were immense, not only in terms of military conquests and political alliances, but also through his focus on monumental architecture and religious practices. Pakal's most enduring legacy is the Temple of the Inscriptions, a towering structure within Palenque's grand city centre, which serves as a testament to his devotion to the gods and his family lineage. The temple is home to his tomb, a lavish burial site that was discovered in 1952, containing intricate jade jewelry, a sarcophagus, and inscriptions that highlight his divine status and royal accomplishments. The grandeur of the temple and the elaborate burial rites underscore the belief that Maya rulers were not only kings in life, but also gods in the afterlife, continuing their roles in the spiritual realm. The Maya kings were not just political leaders, but also powerful religious figures. Their reign was legitimized by their divine connections, and their role was to ensure that the gods were appeased through rituals, ceremonies, and offerings. Religious ceremonies often took place in the grand temples and pyramids, where kings performed rites that were believed to secure the favor of the gods, particularly for agricultural success, military victories, and the well-being of their people. These ceremonies were sometimes elaborate, involving sacrifices, dances, and feasts, all aimed at maintaining the favor of the gods and ensuring the prosperity of the kingdom. The relationship between the rulers and their people was deeply shaped by these religious duties. While the Maya elite lived in splendor, surrounded by luxury and servants, the common people often viewed their rulers with a mixture of awe and fear, recognizing them as both the protectors of their material needs and the intermediaries between the human world and the divine. The common people, such as farmers, traders, and artisans, depended on the king's ability to maintain stability, manage resources, and mediate divine favor. In return, they offered tribute, labor, and loyalty, ensuring the continuation of the ruler's reign and the prosperity of the kingdom. This intertwining of politics and religion defined Maya rulership, and the legacy of rulers like Pakal the Great still resonates today, reflecting a civilization where the divine and the earthly were never separate, but one and the same. The great Maya cities, Tikal, Palenque, and Copan, stood as monumental centers of power, culture, and religion, each contributing uniquely to the civilization's legacy. These cities, with their towering temples, intricate plazas, and sophisticated infrastructure, represented the peak of Maya urban development and were home to some of the most famous rulers in Maya history. Tikal, one of the most prominent cities in the Maya world, flourished during the Classic period, especially between 200 and 900 CE. Located in the heart of the Piton Basin, Tikal was a hub of political and religious activity, with its monumental pyramids and vast plazas, serving as symbols of both its power and its divine connection. Tikal's rulers, such as the mighty Yaks Nuan Ahian I, were celebrated not only for their military conquests, but also for their patronage of art, architecture, and religion. Tikal's political structure was heavily influenced by its religious ideals, with the king seen as a direct intermediary between the gods and the people. Its grandeur, however, didn't come without conflict, and Tikal's rise to power was often accompanied by fierce battles with rival cities like Calakmul, whose kings sought to dominate the region. Palenque, located in the Chiapas highlands, is known for its exceptional art, architecture, and inscriptions. The city's most famous ruler, Pakal the Great, reigned from 615 to 683 CE and is remembered for his military victories, monumental building projects, and religious devotion. Pakal's reign saw the construction of the Temple of the Inscriptions, which housed his tomb and contained one of the most significant stelae in Maya history. His leadership marked a high point in Palenque's political and cultural life, with the city becoming a leading force in the Maya lowlands. Palenque's rulers, deeply connected to the gods, presided over elaborate religious rituals and sacrifices, underscoring the importance of divine favor in maintaining political power and prosperity. Copan, situated in the southern Maya lowlands near the Guatemalan border, was another powerhouse during the Classic period. The city is particularly famous for its highly detailed stelae and altars, which depicted the great rulers of the city. One such ruler, King 18 Rabbit, is known for his contributions to Copan's architectural and artistic splendor, as well as for his military campaigns that expanded the city's influence. The Copan rulers, like those of Tikal and Palenque, were seen as divine figures, their rule legitimized through both their connection to the gods and their ability to maintain control over surrounding territories. Copan's political life was marked by alliances and rivalries with other cities. Its religious life centered around a pantheon of gods, whose favor was sought through complex rituals and offerings. These great cities of the Maya world were not only political centers but also religious epicenters, where the divine and the earthly were intricately intertwined. The rulers of Tikal, Palenque, and Copan acted as both sovereigns and high priests, ensuring the prosperity of their people through military conquests, political diplomacy, and, above all, religious devotion. Their achievements both architectural and cultural, continue to fascinate and inspire, standing as testaments to the enduring legacy of the Maya civilization. The southern Maya lowlands, a region rich in fertile land and abundant resources, became a central stage for some of the most powerful and influential city-states in the Maya civilization, including Palenque and Copan. These cities, located in present-day southern Mexico and Guatemala, rose to prominence during the Classic period, marked by their military conquests, political alliances, and cultural achievements. Palenque, with its lush highland setting, and Copan, nestled along the Copan River, each developed distinct identities that contributed to the competitive nature of the Maya world. Palenque, under the leadership of the renowned Pakal the Great, became one of the most celebrated cities of the Maya lowlands. Pakal's reign, beginning in 615 CE, saw the city flourish politically and culturally, especially in architecture and the arts. His construction of the Temple of the Inscriptions, one of the most iconic Maya structures, is a testament to Palenque's architectural prowess. The city's stunning reliefs and stelae, which documented both divine and earthly events, provided a narrative of the city's royal lineage and military successes. These monumental works of art conveyed the divine legitimacy of Palenque's rulers and reinforced their authority in the eyes of both their subjects and rivals. To the east, Copan became a significant cultural and political center, with a rich tradition of stele carving and monumental sculpture. The city's rulers, like King 18 Rabbit, solidified Copan's power through military conquest and strategic alliances, furthering the city's cultural impact. Copan's grand plazas and temples, adorned with intricate carvings, reflected the city's sophisticated art and religious practices. The city's astronomical observatory, which allowed for precise timekeeping and celestial observation, was another significant achievement that linked Copan's rulers to divine forces and solidified their role as intermediaries between the gods and the people. At the same time, the rivalry between Tikal, located in the northern lowlands, and Calakmul, positioned deep in the southern lowlands, played a crucial role in shaping the political landscape of the Maya world. Tikal and Calakmul, two of the largest and most powerful city-states, engaged in a fierce struggle for dominance throughout much of the Classic period. The two cities waged a series of wars and diplomatic maneuvers, with alliances being formed and broken as they vied for control over territory and trade routes. Tikal, with its military strength, and Calakmul, with its strategic positioning and wealth, frequently clashed in battles that reshaped the region's political dynamics. In this context, the rise of the southern Maya lowlands was not only about the flourishing of individual city-states, but also about the complex web of interactions between them. The region's art, architecture, and monumental construction were deeply entwined with the political and religious ideals of the time. Palenque and Copan, through their monumental architecture, intricate art, and military successes, became crucial players in the Maya world. Their contributions to the cultural and political landscape helped to shape the legacy of the Maya civilization, leaving behind a rich heritage that continues to captivate historians and archaeologists alike. Around 900 CE, a profound shift began to take place in the Maya world, as many of the great cities of the southern lowlands suddenly fell into decline. The once thriving urban centers, such as Tikal, Copan, and Palenque, experienced a mysterious collapse that has puzzled scholars for centuries. While no single explanation can account for this widespread phenomenon, several interconnected factors likely contributed to the dramatic fall of the classic Maya civilization. One of the prevailing theories points to environmental stress as a key factor in the Maya collapse. The southern lowlands, with their dense tropical forests and dependence on agriculture, were particularly vulnerable to shifts in the environment. The Maya relied heavily on slash-and-burn farming techniques to cultivate crops like maize, beans, and squash. However, over time, This practice led to deforestation and soil depletion, which weakened the region's ability to sustain large populations. As the environment deteriorated, agricultural yields likely diminished, causing food shortages that strained the societies that depended on them. Along with environmental stress, the Maya faced increasing internal and external pressures from warfare. The competition between rival city-states, particularly during the height of Tikal and Calakmul's rivalry, escalated into frequent conflicts. These wars, which often resulted in destruction and territorial loss, consumed valuable resources and weakened the city's ability to recover. As cities like Tikal were defeated in battle and their power diminished, their rulers could no longer maintain control over the vast territories they once dominated. Warfare likely intensified the already existing environmental challenges, as resources that could have been used for agricultural restoration were instead diverted toward military campaigns. In addition to these internal factors, the Maya also faced the strain of resource depletion. The large urban centers required immense amounts of labor to maintain their temples, palaces, and monumental architecture. Over time, the labor force needed to support these activities likely became unsustainable, especially as the population growth continued. With the depletion of key resources like timber and water, cities were unable to maintain their infrastructure, leading to a gradual erosion of their political and social fabric. By the end of the 9th century, many of the major cities in the southern lowlands were abandoned, their once mighty temples and palaces left in ruin. The once great dynasties faded from memory, and the once thriving trade routes that connected the cities began to collapse. While the northern cities, like Chichen Itza, would continue to thrive for a time, the loss of the southern cities marked a significant turning point in Maya civilization. The mystery of the collapse has intrigued historians for centuries, and while much remains unknown, it is clear that a combination of environmental, social, and political factors contributed to the Maya decline. The end of the Classic period did not mark the end of the Maya civilization altogether, but it represented a dramatic shift that would lead to new centers of power and new ways of life in the Maya world. After the decline of the southern Maya lowlands around 900 CE, the focus of Maya civilization shifted northward to the Yucatan Peninsula, where new city-states emerged. Chichen Itza and Uxmal became the dominant forces in this northern region, rising to prominence in the wake of the collapse of the southern cities. These cities not only continued the cultural and architectural traditions of their predecessors, but also adapted to new political, economic, and environmental realities. Chichen Itza, in particular, grew into one of the most powerful and influential cities of the post-Classic period. Its rise coincided with the decline of southern Maya power, and it became a major center of trade, politics, and culture. The city's location, at the crossroads of important trade routes, allowed it to become a hub for commerce, connecting the Maya world to the wider Mesoamerican region. Chichen Itza's strategic position enabled it to control the flow of goods, including jade, obsidian, and cacao, all of which were highly valued throughout the Maya world. This made the city a prosperous center, attracting traders, diplomats, and artisans from across the region. The architecture of Chichen Itza reflects its growing importance and wealth. The city is renowned for its grand, monumental structures, including the Pyramid of Kukulkan, a massive step pyramid that dominates the city's main plaza. This pyramid is not only a remarkable feat of engineering, but also a testament to the city's deep connection with the heavens. The alignment of the pyramid with celestial events, such as the equinox, reflects the Mayas' continued reverence for astronomy and their ability to integrate their spiritual beliefs into their architecture. Similarly, the city of Uxmal also flourished in the northern lowlands. Uxmal, with its unique Puuc architectural style, featured intricately decorated buildings with distinct geometric patterns and large stone mosaics. Unlike the massive pyramids of Chichen Itza, Uxmal's buildings were often smaller but no less impressive. with detailed facades that reflected the city's cultural and religious significance. The Nunnery Quadrangle, one of Uxmal's most famous sites, exemplifies the city's architectural prowess and its importance as a center of cultural life. Trade continued to play a crucial role in the northern Maya cities. Chichen Itza and Uxmal were both vital nodes in a vast network of commerce that spanned the entire region. The Maya had long traded goods like jade, obsidian, and feathers, but in the post-classic period, new goods like textiles and pottery from central Mexico began to appear in the northern cities. This influx of foreign goods helped shape the region's culture, blending local Maya traditions with outside influences, particularly from central Mexico, and contributing to the cosmopolitan nature of cities like Chichen Itza. In the centuries following the collapse of the southern lowlands, the northern Maya cities, especially Chichen Itza and Uxmal, became important centers of trade, culture, and political power. Their architectural achievements, strategic locations, and flourishing trade networks allowed them to play a key role in maintaining the Maya civilization through the post-classic period, ensuring its legacy would continue for generations to come. The Maya civilization, with its sophisticated culture, technology, and intellectual achievements, interacted with a variety of neighboring Mesoamerican cultures throughout its long history. These exchanges were not merely limited to trade, but extended to significant cultural, religious, and scientific influences that shaped the development of the entire region. Among the most notable interactions were those with the Olmecs, Teotihuacan, and Zapotecs, all of whom left their mark on the Maya and, in turn, were influenced by them. The Olmecs, often regarded as the mother culture of Mesoamerica, were one of the earliest civilizations to influence the Maya. The Olmec civilization, flourishing between 1200 BCE and 400 BCE in the Gulf Coast region of Mexico, shared several key cultural elements with the Maya. These included religious symbols, artistic motifs, and even architectural styles. The iconic Olmec colossal heads, for instance, had an enduring impact on the Maya, influencing their own sculptural traditions. The Olmec practice of creating large ceremonial centers also resonated in the Maya world, where monumental structures and plazas became central to their cities. Although the Olmecs themselves did not directly influence the Maya politically, their cultural innovations laid the groundwork for the development of Mesoamerican civilization, providing the Maya with foundational elements that they would adapt and elaborate upon. The rise of Teotihuacan, located in the central highlands of modern-day Mexico, further shaped the Maya civilization, particularly during the Classic period. Teotihuacan, which reached its peak around 200 CE to 600 CE, was a vast metropolis with a highly advanced urban structure, renowned for its impressive architecture, such as the Pyramid of the Sun and the Pyramid of the Moon. As Teotihuacan expanded its influence across Mesoamerica, it established strong trade relations with the Maya and exerted considerable cultural influence, particularly in the realm of religion and art. Maya cities like Tikal and others in the southern lowlands became increasingly influenced by Teotihuacan's artistic styles, including its use of vibrant murals and imagery that depicted gods and celestial symbols. These connections are evident in the artifacts and architectural remains found in both regions. Teotihuacan's religious practices, particularly the worship of Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent, also resonated with the Maya, who adopted similar deities into their pantheon, integrating them into their own religious systems. The Zapotecs, another important culture from the Oaxaca region of southern Mexico, also had notable interactions with the Maya. The Zapotecs were known for their advanced writing system, which influenced the development of the Maya script. Archaeological evidence shows that Zapotecs and Maya engaged in cultural exchanges, particularly in trade and ceremonial practices. The Zapotec city of Monte Alban, a major center of Zapotec culture, featured architectural and artistic elements that were mirrored in Maya cities. Both cultures shared an appreciation for astronomical alignments, which is evident in the way their respective structures were constructed to mark celestial events, linking religion with daily life. These interactions between the Maya and their neighbors led to a rich exchange of ideas, technologies, and beliefs. The diffusion of Maya knowledge, particularly in the realms of mathematics, astronomy, and writing, spread across Mesoamerica. The Mayas' complex calendar system, which included their long-count calendar, was adopted and adapted by other Mesoamerican cultures, such as the Zapotecs and later the Mexica. Their knowledge of the stars and the cosmos deeply influenced religious practices and the construction of temples and pyramids throughout the region. The cultural exchange between the Maya and their neighbors created a shared Mesoamerican heritage, weaving together diverse traditions, beliefs, and knowledge. These interactions contributed to the continued development and flourishing of Mesoamerican societies long after the decline of the Maya civilization itself. Through art, religion, and science, the Mayas' legacy continued to influence subsequent cultures, ensuring their impact on the region would last for centuries. After the dramatic decline of the southern Maya lowlands in the late Classic period, many believed that the Maya civilization had reached its peak and subsequently collapsed. However, the post-Classic period, spanning from 900 CE to 1500 CE, saw a resurgence of Maya culture in a new form. This was a time of great political, cultural, and religious transformation as Maya civilization adapted to the changing conditions of the time. In the wake of the classic Maya collapse, the northern Maya lowlands became the center of the civilization's resurgence. Cities such as Chichen Itza and Mayapan rose to prominence, marking the reorganization of Maya society in a new geographical region. Chichen Itza, in particular, became one of the most powerful and influential cities of the post-Classic period. This city, with its monumental pyramid, the El Castillo, stood as a testament to the Mayas' architectural and astronomical expertise. The city's rise to power marked a shift away from the traditional city-state structure of the Classic period, as Chichen Itza expanded its influence across much of the northern lowlands. The rise of Mayapan, another key post-Classic city, also played a significant role in this resurgence. Located near the modern Yucatan Peninsula, Mayapan was the last capital of the Maya civilization before the Spanish arrived. Unlike the fragmented political system of earlier Maya cities, Mayapan represented a more centralized form of governance. The city's political structure was influenced by the memories of the Classic period, yet it adapted to new circumstances, with a council of nobles guiding the city's affairs. Mayapan's reorganization signified a shift in Maya governance, moving away from the old dynastic rule towards a more collective, oligarchic system. Politically, the post-Classic Maya world was marked by significant transformations. While the previous Classic period had seen the dominance of powerful, often militaristic city-states like Tikal and Calakmul, the post-Classic period saw a rise in powerful trade hubs and less centralized authority. As Maya cities like Chichen Itza grew in power, they also engaged in regional trade networks, connecting the Maya world to other Mesoamerican cultures. This new focus on trade led to the flourishing of material culture and the spread of new ideas, both within Maya society and to neighboring civilizations. Culturally, the post-Classic period saw significant changes in Maya religious practices. The pantheon of gods, though largely similar to those of the Classic period, became more diverse and included new deities from the northern regions. The worship of Kukulkan, a feathered serpent god, became particularly important, symbolizing both the cultural and religious transformation of this period. The influence of Teotihuacan and Toltec culture was also evident in the art, architecture, and religious iconography of the time, further diversifying the Maya spiritual world. The post-Classic period was not without its challenges. While Maya cities like Chichen Itza and Mayapan thrived, the overall political stability of the civilization was tenuous. There were ongoing rivalries between powerful cities, and internal social struggles sometimes led to conflicts that weakened the Maya society. Despite these challenges, the resurgence of Maya culture in the post-classic period laid the groundwork for the continued existence of Maya civilization, even in the face of European colonization. The arrival of the Spanish in the early 16th century marked a turning point in the history of the Maya civilization. While the Maya had once flourished as one of the most advanced and influential civilizations in Mesoamerica, the onset of Spanish colonization would soon lead to the downfall of many of their powerful city-states. The impact of the Spanish on Maya culture was profound and multifaceted, as it brought with it both the destruction of Maya society and the introduction of new ideas, technologies, and religions that would alter the course of history. The first significant contact between the Spanish and the Maya took place in the early 1500s, with explorers like Francisco Hernández de Córdoba and Juan de Grijalva making initial contact along the Yucatan Peninsula. These early encounters were often marked by misunderstanding and hostility, with the Spanish arriving as both conquerors and evangelists. The Maya, who had long been accustomed to their own social, religious, and political structures, found themselves faced with foreign invaders who sought not only to conquer their lands, but also to impose Christianity on their religious practices. Spanish attempts at colonization met with resistance from the Maya, who were far from a single unified entity, but instead comprised numerous city-states and peoples, each with its own rulers and traditions. The Maya did not take the Spanish threat lightly and fiercely resisted their efforts to subjugate them. One of the earliest and most famous instances of Maya resistance occurred in 1527, when the Maya of the Yucatan Peninsula, led by the ruler of the city of Ichpatun, launched a series of attacks on Spanish expeditions. Despite their bravery and tactical knowledge of the land, the Maya were at a disadvantage, facing superior weaponry, horses, and military organization that the Spanish brought with them. The most notable and prolonged resistance came from the southern Maya, particularly the Maya of the highlands in Guatemala and Chiapas. The Maya continued to resist Spanish authority for decades, even after the fall of the great cities like Chichen Itza and Uxmal. One of the most significant uprisings was led by the Quiche Maya in 1524, who successfully repelled Spanish forces for a time. However, the Spanish response was swift and brutal, utilizing both military force and strategic alliances with rival Maya groups. These alliances allowed the Spanish to gradually subdue the Maya, weakening their resistance through divide-and-conquer tactics. In the face of overwhelming Spanish force, much of Maya society was either forcibly integrated into the colonial system or decimated by violence, disease, and forced labor. The Spanish imposed new systems of governance and religion, with the Catholic Church playing a central role in the effort to convert the Maya to Christianity. This led to the destruction of many of their sacred temples and a concerted effort to erase their traditional belief systems. The Spanish forced the Maya to abandon their gods and adopt new religious practices, even though many continued to hold on to elements of their old beliefs in secret. Despite the devastation brought on by the Spanish, the Maya did not disappear entirely. Though their civilization was deeply altered, their resilience and cultural identity endured. Maya language, traditions, and religious practices persisted in remote areas, and the Maya were able to adapt, blending their ancient customs with new influences introduced by the Spanish. The encounter with the Spanish, though one of great loss, ultimately marked the beginning of a new chapter in the Maya story, one of survival, adaptation, and resistance to cultural assimilation. After decades of fierce resistance, the Maya were eventually subdued by the Spanish in the 17th century, but their subjugation was far from an easy conquest. The process was slow and drawn out, with pockets of resistance persisting for many years. The Spanish, with their superior weaponry and military strategies, were able to overpower the fragmented Maya city-states, but not without significant losses on both sides. Despite the eventual dominance of Spanish forces, the Mayas' defiance and resilience left a lasting imprint on the history of the Americas. The fall of the Maya cities marked a decisive moment in their civilization's history. The once thriving urban centers, such as Chichen Itza, Uxmal, and Tikal, fell under the control of the Spanish, who saw these cities as symbols of their conquest and a key to asserting dominance over the region. The Spanish destroyed many of the temples, palaces, and ceremonial centers, erasing much of the architectural and religious significance of these ancient sites. This systematic destruction was not just a physical act, but a cultural one as well. The Spaniards sought to break the Mayas' connection to their past by demolishing their sacred spaces and displacing their population from their ancestral lands. The suppression of Maya culture was just as harsh. With the Spanish imposition of Catholicism, traditional Maya religious practices were outlawed and replaced with Christian rites. Temples were converted into churches, and the indigenous gods of the Maya were either demonized or entirely forgotten in favor of a singular Christian deity. In many cases, the Spanish authorities forced the Maya to abandon their ancient rituals and replace them with European forms of worship. However, despite the efforts to erase their religious identity, the Maya were often able to preserve aspects of their spirituality, sometimes blending them with Christian beliefs to form syncretic practices that endured in secret. The Spanish also sought to undermine the social and political structures that had supported the Maya for centuries. The Spanish introduced the encomienda system, which granted Spanish settlers control over indigenous labor in exchange for protection and Christianization. This system turned the Maya into forced laborers on Spanish plantations, severely restricting their freedom and perpetuating their subjugation. Over time, many Maya were driven to the outskirts of society, marginalized and oppressed under the weight of colonial rule. Their traditional methods of governance, which had once been based on the authority of divine rulers and priest-kings, were replaced by Spanish colonial administrators who imposed their own legal and economic systems. Despite these oppressive forces, the Maya never completely lost their identity. Even as the Spanish sought to quash their culture, elements of Maya language, art, and customs continued to survive in the remote villages and communities where the Maya retreated. In some regions, the Maya retained their language as a secret means of communication and continued to practice aspects of their religion in ways that were not immediately apparent to their Spanish overseers. These quiet acts of resistance were proof of the enduring spirit of the Maya people, who, despite centuries of colonial suppression, were never fully extinguished. Even in the face of centuries of colonial oppression and cultural suppression, the Maya language and writing system endured, becoming a testament to the resilience of a civilization that refused to be fully erased. Today, Maya languages like Yucatec, Quiche, and others are still spoken by millions of people across southern Mexico, Guatemala, and Belize, a living connection to the ancient world. These languages, with their intricate grammatical structures and rich vocabulary, carry the legacy of a civilization that thrived long before European contact. The preservation and use of these languages remain a vital part of Maya identity, defying the forces of colonialism that once sought to replace them with Spanish. Maya writing, once thought to be lost forever, has experienced a remarkable revival in recent decades. The ancient Maya script, a combination of logograms and syllabic symbols, was used to record important events, genealogies, and religious texts. For centuries, much of the script was misunderstood, and its decipherment seemed like an impossible task. However, thanks to the efforts of linguists and archaeologists, including the work of Maya scholars themselves, significant progress has been made in decoding the script. In the 20th century, breakthroughs in understanding the glyphs allowed researchers to read and interpret previously indecipherable inscriptions, revealing stories of Maya kings, their achievements, and their relationships with gods and other city-states. The ancient Maya wrote not only on stone monuments, but also on bark paper, creating codices that recorded complex information about their society, religion, and astronomy. These codices were meticulously painted and folded into concertina-like books, which were often stored in temples or royal palaces. The surviving codices, such as the Dresden, Madrid, and Paris codices, are invaluable windows into the intellectual and artistic achievements of the Maya. Though many of these codices were destroyed during the Spanish conquest, a few survived, hidden away in private collections and eventually rediscovered. These documents offer insight into the Mayas' intricate knowledge of the cosmos, their ritual practices, and their understanding of time. Maya inscriptions, whether etched into stone stelae or painted onto ceramics, continue to provide scholars with important clues about the political, religious, and social life of the ancient Maya. Monumental stelae, often erected in the central plazas of cities, were used to commemorate important events such as royal accessions, military victories, or celestial alignments. These inscriptions, along with the writings in codices, offer a vivid picture of the Mayas' complex worldview and the central role that writing played in shaping their civilization. The script itself, now understood as a sophisticated system, remains a symbol of the Mayas' intellectual legacy and their ability to preserve their history through written word. In the modern era, the Maya people continue to take pride in their language and writing, with efforts to revitalize and promote their cultural heritage. Maya scholars, teachers, and community leaders are working to ensure that both the languages and the ancient script remain alive, passing them down to future generations. The Maya legacy, preserved in both language and writing, stands as a powerful reminder of the enduring strength of a civilization that has withstood centuries of challenges, maintaining its presence in the world today. The story of Maya archaeology is one of discovery, intrigue, and the slow but steady unearthing of a lost civilization. The dense jungles of the Maya lowlands, with their hidden cities and forgotten temples, have long piqued the interest of explorers and scholars. It wasn't until the 19th century that the first major archaeological expeditions into the heart of the Maya world began, igniting a fascination that would continue to shape the field. Early discoveries, though limited, revealed a complex and sophisticated civilization, with monumental architecture and intricate artwork that had long been swallowed by the jungle. One of the most significant early figures in Maya archaeology was John Lloyd Stephens, an American writer and explorer whose travels in the 1830s led to the rediscovery of several Maya cities. Alongside the British artist Frederick Catherwood, Stephens ventured into the heart of the Yucatan Peninsula, where they meticulously documented the ruins of cities like Uxmal and Copan. Their groundbreaking work, particularly their vivid illustrations of the ruins, brought the Maya world into the eyes of the Western world. Their writings and sketches from their journeys are considered some of the first true documents of Maya archaeology, sparking global interest and laying the groundwork for future research. Stephens and Catherwood's work sparked a wave of expeditions, and by the late 19th and early 20th centuries, more and more ancient Maya cities began to be uncovered. Explorers like Teobet Mala and Alfred Maudslay, among others, played significant roles in mapping the Maya lowlands and documenting the vast ruins that remained. Their efforts revealed the magnitude of the civilization's achievements, from massive stone pyramids to intricately carved monuments, all hidden beneath layers of soil and jungle growth. The focus of Maya archaeology shifted in the 20th century as scholars began to pay closer attention to the broader context of Maya life. Excavations began to uncover not only monumental architecture, but also smaller, everyday items such as pottery, tools, and jewelry, which provided a more intimate glimpse into Maya society. Researchers began to focus on understanding the culture, religion, and daily life of the Maya, rather than simply cataloguing their ruins. This shift in approach allowed archaeologists to piece together the complexity of Maya civilization, from its agricultural practices to its intricate belief systems. The work of archaeologists continues today, with numerous sites in Mexico, Guatemala, and Belize undergoing ongoing excavations. Modern techniques such as LiDAR, light detection and ranging, technology are revealing entire Maya cities that were previously hidden beneath thick forest canopies. These discoveries offer new insights into how the Maya built and organized their cities, and how their civilization functioned. Conservation efforts have also become increasingly important, as the threat of looting, tourism, and environmental factors puts pressure on these ancient sites. In many ways, the story of Maya archaeology is still being written, with each excavation revealing new fragments of a past civilization that continues to captivate the world. As our understanding deepens, the Maya world becomes not just a relic of the past, but a vibrant part of our shared human history. In the modern world, the Maya civilization, which once seemed lost to time, is experiencing a remarkable revival. The descendants of the ancient Maya, spread across countries such as Guatemala, Mexico, and Belize, have worked tirelessly to preserve and restore their cultural identity. Despite centuries of colonization and cultural suppression, the Maya people have maintained strong ties to their heritage, ensuring that their traditions, language, and beliefs continue to shape their communities today. In many ways, the return of the Maya is not just a rediscovery of the past, but a thriving continuation of an ancient culture that has survived against the odds. One of the most significant ways in which modern Maya communities have preserved their traditions is through their language. The Maya language, with its many dialects like Yucatec, Quiche, and Mam, remains a cornerstone of cultural identity. In regions like the highlands of Guatemala, the language is still spoken daily by millions, with efforts being made to teach younger generations both the language and the history that accompanies it. Schools in these regions often offer bilingual education, teaching in both Spanish and the indigenous Maya language, ensuring that the knowledge and wisdom passed down through generations are not lost. The resilience of the Maya language is a testament to the strength of cultural pride, as it represents not only communication, but a deep connection to the past. Religion plays an equally pivotal role in the revival of Maya culture. For many modern Maya, spiritual practices are closely intertwined with their daily lives, and ancient Maya beliefs continue to influence their rituals and festivals. Ceremonies that honor the natural world, the ancestors, and the sacred forces of the cosmos are regularly performed. The Maya calendar, once used to track time and celestial events, still holds great significance, and the traditional use of ceremonial sites, like the famous pyramids of Copan and Tikal, continues as both a spiritual practice and a cultural celebration. These religious practices serve not only to honor their gods and ancestors, but also to reaffirm the community's connection to the ancient Maya past. The modern Maya are also deeply involved in the political and cultural landscape of their countries. In Guatemala, Mexico, and Belize, Maya communities have increasingly gained recognition for their role in society. Many Maya groups have fought for land rights, the preservation of their cultural heritage, and greater political representation. In recent years, there has been a growing movement toward Maya rights, with efforts to secure indigenous autonomy and preserve cultural practices from encroaching globalization. As Maya people continue to assert their rights, their contributions to the social, cultural, and political spheres grow ever more significant, allowing for a deeper appreciation and respect for their heritage. Through their persistence and dedication, the Maya have shown that their civilization is not merely a chapter in history but a living, breathing culture that continues to thrive. Today, the Maya people of Central America stand as a powerful reminder of the resilience of cultural identity, and their revival is a celebration of not only the ancient world, but also the vibrancy of modern life. The return of the Maya is a testament to the strength of their heritage and the unwavering pride of a people determined to keep their history alive. In Maya society, Women held significant roles both in the domestic sphere and in religious practices. Their influence extended far beyond household duties, as they were often deeply involved in the social and spiritual fabric of their communities. While the Maya civilization was predominantly patriarchal, women were recognized for their contributions to society and were sometimes even elevated to positions of great power. The roles women played in religion, politics, and everyday life were vital to the prosperity of their cities. Women's influence in religious practices was particularly notable. They played an integral part in the rituals that sustained the Maya cosmology, acting as intermediaries between the gods and the people. Many women served as priestesses, overseeing ceremonies that included offerings to the gods and other spiritual rites. They were responsible for maintaining the sacred fires, which were considered essential for keeping the balance between the natural and supernatural worlds. Some women also participated in divination and the reading of sacred calendars, tasks traditionally performed by those with deep spiritual insight. Maya women were thus active participants in the maintenance of cosmic order, their religious roles demonstrating their centrality in Maya society. In the realm of political power, some women rose to prominence as rulers or consorts. Maya queens, such as Lady Six Sky of Naranjo and the famous Lady Cable of the Copan dynasty, were influential figures who wielded authority alongside their male counterparts. These women often acted as regents or co-rulers, their power recognized through inscriptions and monuments that celebrated their leadership. Lady Six Sky, for example, is known for her role in the political and military activities of Naranjo, successfully leading her city during times of conflict. Her legacy is etched into the stones of her city, symbolizing the respect and recognition women could attain in the Maya world. These powerful queens were often depicted on stelae and murals, showing that women could hold real political sway, sometimes commanding armies and making decisions that shaped the fate of their kingdoms. The depiction of women in Maya art and writing further illustrates their importance. In murals, ceramics, and stone carvings, women were shown in positions of honor and influence, frequently as goddesses or powerful figures in the royal court. They were often portrayed as central figures in ceremonies, sometimes standing alongside kings or gods in these sacred depictions. Women were not just passive subjects of art, but active participants in the stories told through the imagery and glyphs. In the Maya script, women's names and titles appear in royal lineages, underscoring their roles as both leaders and sacred figures in society. While the roles of women in ancient Maya society were undoubtedly shaped by the culture's gender norms, the evidence suggests that they were far more than mere bystanders in the shaping of Maya civilization. Whether through their roles as priestesses, queens, or political advisors, Maya women left a powerful mark on their world. Through the sacred ceremonies they led, the political power they wielded, and the way they were depicted in art and writing, women were integral to the development and lasting legacy of the Maya civilization. Maya architecture is most often associated with the grand pyramids and towering temples that rise above the jungle canopy, but the civilization's architectural legacy extends far beyond these iconic structures. While pyramids and temples served as monumental expressions of religious devotion and political power, Maya residential architecture and civic spaces were also critical to the functioning of their societies. These structures were designed with practical and symbolic intent, reflecting both the daily life of the Maya and their deeply spiritual worldview. The layout of Maya cities was a reflection of their cultural values, with public and private spaces carefully integrated. Residential areas were often made up of small, single-story homes that clustered around central courtyards. These homes were constructed using materials such as limestone, adobe, and thatch, with the roofs made of palm fronds to shield inhabitants from the tropical heat. The interior spaces were typically simple, with furnishings like mats and woven textiles. Although these homes were modest compared to the monumental pyramids and temples, they were designed with efficiency and comfort in mind, allowing Maya families to live in close-knit communities while maintaining a connection to their surrounding environment. Palaces, by contrast, were grander and more complex in design. The royal residences were often 2- or 3-story structures built around open courtyards. These palaces were not just homes but also centers of governance and ceremony, where rulers held court and conducted affairs of state. They were decorated with intricate stone carvings and stucco reliefs depicting the king's divine ancestry, military victories, and religious rituals. The palace complexes often included private chambers for the royal family, public reception halls for visiting dignitaries, and even spaces for ritual offerings to the gods. These buildings reflected the power and authority of the ruling class, and their placement within the city symbolized the central role of the ruler in both the political and spiritual spheres. Public spaces and ceremonial centers were the heart of Maya cities. At the core of most Maya urban areas stood a large plaza, a wide open space where people gathered for markets, festivals, and social activities. The plazas were often surrounded by large structures such as temples, ball courts, and stelae, each serving a specific function in Maya society. The temples, like those at Copan and Tikal, were places of worship and political ritual, where priests conducted ceremonies to honor the gods. Ball courts, with their distinctive eye-shaped layout, were used for ceremonial games that were both entertainment and religious expression, symbolizing the struggle between life and death, good and evil. The stelae, tall stone monuments, were often inscribed with the names of rulers, their accomplishments, and divine associations, reinforcing the link between the monarchy and the gods. Maya architecture was not just a practical response to the environment, but a reflection of the culture's spiritual and political ideals. The relationship between the residential, royal, and public spaces created a city where both daily life and ceremonial practices coexisted in harmony. The Maya understood the importance of architecture as both a functional and symbolic element in their civilization, and through their buildings, they told stories of their gods, rulers, and cultural identity. Each structure, from the humblest home to the grandest palace, played a role in shaping the society and culture that flourished for centuries. Maya science and engineering represent an extraordinary fusion of practical ingenuity and deep cultural understanding, allowing them to thrive in challenging environments. Their mastery in engineering, agriculture, and urban planning set them apart as one of the most sophisticated civilizations in pre-Columbian Americas. From creating advanced hydraulic systems to constructing sustainable agricultural terraces, the Maya demonstrated an unparalleled ability to adapt to their natural surroundings and build a lasting legacy. One of the key aspects of Maya engineering was their remarkable knowledge of water management. In the tropical climate of the lowlands, water could be both a life-sustaining resource and a destructive force. The Maya built complex hydraulic systems to channel and store rainwater, ensuring their cities could survive dry seasons. Large cisterns, such as those discovered at the ancient city of Uaxactun, were designed to capture rainwater, and networks of canals and reservoirs allowed for the distribution of this precious resource throughout the city. These systems were a testament to the Maya's understanding of the hydrological cycle and their innovative approach to addressing environmental challenges. Agriculture was another area where the Maya excelled, using advanced techniques to maximize food production. The Maya practiced crop rotation, allowing different types of crops to be grown in harmony with one another and the land. The most significant agricultural innovation was the creation of terraced fields, particularly in the highland regions. These terraces, built into the steep mountain slopes, were designed to prevent soil erosion, manage water runoff, and create flat areas for crop cultivation. The terraces were ingeniously constructed with stone walls and a series of channels to direct water to the fields, enabling the Maya to grow crops like maize, beans, and squash even in the challenging topography of their environment. This mastery of agriculture ensured a stable food supply for their urban centers. In addition to their hydraulic systems and agricultural innovations, the Maya were skilled urban planners. Their cities were meticulously organized, with structures built in alignment with astronomical and spiritual principles. The city layouts, such as those at Copan and Tikal, often featured grand plazas surrounded by temples, palaces, and ball courts, all positioned with precise attention to celestial events and religious significance. The Maya used their knowledge of the stars to guide the construction of these cities, creating a built environment that reflected their spiritual beliefs and astronomical understanding. Maya contributions to science and technology were not limited to architecture and agriculture. They also made significant strides in mathematics and astronomy. They developed an advanced numeral system based on the concept of zero, which was revolutionary for its time. Their astronomical observations led to the creation of highly accurate calendars, used for both practical and religious purposes. The Maya tracked the movements of the sun, moon, and planets with incredible precision, allowing them to predict solar and lunar eclipses and other celestial events. Their understanding of the cosmos was deeply intertwined with their religious practices, as the stars were seen as messengers of the gods, influencing the lives of the Maya people. Through these advancements, the Maya demonstrated a sophisticated understanding of the world around them, blending science, engineering, and spirituality in a way that allowed their civilization to flourish for centuries. Their legacy in agriculture, urban planning, and scientific achievement continues to inspire awe and admiration today. Music and dance were central to Maya culture, intricately woven into the fabric of their religious, social, and ceremonial life. These art forms were not merely for entertainment, but were deeply spiritual practices, used to communicate with the gods, mark important events, and celebrate the cyclical nature of life. The Maya believed that music and dance had the power to influence the divine, bring harmony to the world, and connect the human and spiritual realms. In religious ceremonies, music played a pivotal role in invoking the presence of deities and facilitating communication with the supernatural. The Maya understood music as a sacred language, with different instruments and rhythms designed to call upon specific gods and to bring about favorable outcomes in agricultural, political, or military endeavors. Temples and ceremonial centers were often sites for elaborate performances during important rituals, where dancers and musicians would work in unison, their movements and melodies enhancing the spiritual experience. The sound of music was thought to create an opening between the physical and spiritual worlds, where the gods could hear the pleas and praises of the people. The Maya used a variety of instruments, each with its own specific function and symbolic meaning. Drums were the most common instruments, often made from hollowed-out logs or large gourds with stretched animal skins, and were used to produce rhythms that could range from slow and solemn to fast and intense. Flutes, made from wood or bone, added melodic layers to the soundscape, while rattles and chimes made from shells or metal created shimmering textures that accompanied the beats. The rhythm of the drums, in particular, was believed to mimic the heartbeat, further linking the music to the pulse of the universe. These instruments were not just tools for sound, but were imbued with spiritual significance, often considered to have a life force of their own. Dance performances were equally important in Maya society, acting as a visual expression of the music and enhancing its sacred impact. Dancers performed in intricate, highly symbolic movements, often representing the actions of gods, natural forces, or historical events. Ritual dances could be performed by priests, warriors, or other community members, and were an essential part of ceremonies related to birth, death, and the changing seasons. These dances were not just art, but a vital part of the ritual, believed to influence everything from agricultural fertility to the success of war efforts. Dancers, adorned in colorful costumes and elaborate face paint, would move in time with the music, channeling spiritual energies that were thought to protect and bless the community. Music and dance also played a significant role in Maya daily life, beyond the sacred and ceremonial. They were integral to celebrations, festivals, and social gatherings. Festivals celebrating the harvest or a successful hunt would often feature music and dance as a way to honor the gods and show gratitude for the bounty. The Maya used music to mark life's important milestones, such as birth, marriage, and death. These performances were communal affairs, bringing people together in joyous or solemn union, reinforcing social bonds and cultural identity. Through their use of music and dance, the Maya expressed their reverence for the cosmos and their connection to the divine, creating a rich and harmonious cultural legacy that echoed through both their ceremonial and daily lives. The Maya had a complex and rich understanding of the afterlife, deeply intertwined with their religious beliefs. Central to this worldview was the concept of the underworld, known as Xibalba, a dark and mysterious realm that existed beneath the earth. For the Maya, life did not end with death, but transitioned into a new journey that was fraught with challenges and dangers. The underworld, governed by a pantheon of deities, was seen as both a place of judgment and transformation, where souls had to navigate treacherous trials before finding peace or reincarnation. Xibalba was not a simple place of torment, but rather a complex and multi-layered realm, reflecting the Maya belief in cycles of life, death, and rebirth. The journey of the soul through Xibalba was thought to be perilous, with souls having to pass through 9 levels of the underworld, each ruled by different gods who tested the souls with obstacles such as darkness, fear, and suffering. These gods, often depicted as sinister figures, were not merely antagonistic but represented the forces of nature and fate, reminding the Maya of life's inherent struggles and challenges. To pass through Xibalba successfully, the soul had to be resilient and guided by the principles of Maya spirituality, which included understanding one's place in the cosmos and honoring the gods. The most famous account of a soul's journey through the underworld is found in the Popol Vuh, the sacred creation myth of the Quiche Maya. In this story, the hero twins, Hunahpu and Xbalanque, descend into Xibalba after being summoned by the gods of the underworld, who wish to defeat them in a series of challenges. The hero twins undergo numerous trials, from being forced to navigate treacherous terrain to facing physical and psychological torment. Ultimately, through intelligence, bravery, and the favor of the gods, they overcome the challenges and are resurrected, bringing hope and renewal to the Maya people. This myth encapsulates the Maya belief that death was not an end, but a transformative process that involved both suffering and triumph. Maya mythology surrounding the underworld also extended into their rituals and ceremonies. Many funerary practices were designed to prepare the deceased for the trials of Xibalba. Offering food, incense, and ritual objects was believed to assist the soul in its journey, providing the necessary spiritual tools to navigate the underworld's dangers. Tombs and burial sites were often elaborately constructed, reflecting the importance of guiding the deceased through their passage into the afterlife. The Maya also believed that the deceased could continue to influence the living, offering protection, guidance, and blessings from the underworld if properly honored. The influence of Xibalba and underworld mythology permeated many aspects of Maya culture. It shaped their art, rituals, and even their architectural designs. Temples and ceremonial spaces were constructed to symbolize the passage between life and death, with depictions of the underworld appearing in murals, pottery, and carvings. Xibalba, though a place of darkness and danger, was also a source of divine power and renewal, integral to the Maya's understanding of life's cyclical nature and their spiritual connection to the forces that govern the universe. Pilgrimage played a central role in the spiritual life of the Maya, offering an opportunity to connect with the divine, honor the gods, and receive spiritual blessings. Sacred sites were considered not only geographical locations, but also spiritual hubs, where the boundaries between the human world and the realm of the gods became porous. For the Maya, these sacred spaces were imbued with a deep sense of power and significance, and journeys to these sites were viewed as essential acts of devotion, often requiring considerable effort and resources. Pilgrimages to these sacred places were performed by people from all walks of life, each seeking divine favor, guidance, or healing. Tikal, Uxmal, and Chichen Itza were among the most prominent sacred sites in the Maya world. Each city, with its towering temples, plazas, and ceremonial structures, served as a focal point for religious and political activities. Tikal, one of the greatest Maya cities, was not just a political powerhouse but also a key religious center. Its impressive temples, particularly Temple 1, the Temple of the Great Jaguar, were believed to be places where the gods could manifest and where rulers could communicate with the divine. Pilgrims who traveled to Tikal sought to experience the sacred energy of the site, participate in rituals, and offer prayers for prosperity or protection. Similarly, Uxmal, with its distinctive Puuc-style architecture, was another key location for spiritual journeys. Known for its Pyramid of the Magician, Uxmal was regarded as a site of great cosmic significance, tied to the cycles of the moon and the stars. Pilgrims to Uxmal often engaged in rituals connected to fertility, agriculture, and the cosmos, aligning their prayers with the movements of celestial bodies. This connection to the heavens reinforced the idea that these sacred sites were at the center of not only Maya politics but also the very structure of the universe itself. Chichen Itza, perhaps the most famous Maya city, attracted pilgrims from distant regions, drawn by the site's religious importance. The Temple of Kukulkan, a massive pyramid dedicated to the feathered serpent god, stood as the heart of Chichen Itza's spiritual life. During the equinoxes, the shadow of a serpent would slither down the steps of the temple, a dramatic manifestation of Kukulkan's presence. Pilgrims who came to Chichen Itza participated in ceremonies tied to the agricultural calendar, offering sacrifices and prayers for a bountiful harvest. The site's grandeur and its symbolic alignment with celestial events emphasized the Maya belief in the cyclical nature of time, where human efforts were intimately connected to the movements of the stars. Rituals and ceremonies at these sacred sites were highly structured, involving elaborate offerings, dances, and prayers, often led by priests and shamans. These ceremonies were meant to maintain harmony with the gods and ensure the continuation of life. Rituals could involve the burning of incense, the offering of food, precious items, or even human sacrifices, which were believed to nourish the gods and ensure the fertility of the land. Pilgrims who visited these sacred sites did not merely observe. They participated in a cosmic drama that reflected their place in the universe, reinforcing their spiritual connection to the divine. In every aspect, pilgrimage to the sacred sites of the Maya was a journey not just through space, but also through time, tradition, and belief, connecting the living to their ancestors and the gods. These sites were more than just physical locations. They were the very foundations of Maya religious and cultural life. Maya art was a powerful means of visual storytelling, serving as a conduit for expressing the civilization's complex beliefs, historical narratives, and daily experiences. Through murals, pottery, sculptures, and carvings, the Maya communicated their rich cultural and religious life. Each piece of art was meticulously crafted to convey layers of meaning, from depictions of gods and rulers to scenes from mythology and daily activities. The Maya understood art as more than decoration. It was an integral part of their spiritual and political life, a way to preserve history and communicate with the divine. Murals were among the most significant forms of art for the Maya, often created on the walls of palaces and temples. These vibrant scenes depicted a range of subjects, including ceremonial events, rulers in their divine roles, and gods interacting with humans. For instance, the murals at Bonampak, one of the most well-known sites for Maya wall art, provide a vivid glimpse into the ceremonial life of the elite, showing rulers engaging in rituals, as well as musicians, dancers, and attendants. These murals not only celebrated the power of the kings but also reinforced the idea that royal authority was divinely sanctioned. They were visual records of events that were meant to be seen by future generations, ensuring that the deeds of rulers and the favor of gods were never forgotten. Pottery, another essential medium, was used both in daily life and in ritual contexts. The Maya produced an impressive array of pottery, ranging from functional items such as bowls and jars to intricate vessels used in ceremonies. These items often featured detailed iconography, with motifs that depicted gods, mythological scenes, and animals. Pottery pieces were often decorated with geometric patterns and portraits of rulers, and their shapes and designs could signify particular social functions or religious significance. The pottery of the Maya was not simply utilitarian, it was infused with meaning, telling stories about the people who used it and the world they inhabited. Sculpture played a similar role in storytelling, often in the form of stelae, altars, and statues. The Maya created large stone monuments to commemorate events, such as the ascension of rulers or military victories. These monuments were inscribed with hieroglyphs and images that narrated the deeds of kings, placing them in the context of divine will and cosmic order. The stelae, at sites like Tikal and Copan, were not just public markers of royal achievements. They were designed to connect the ruler with the gods, affirming his legitimacy and divine favor. Sculptures also took the form of gods and mythical creatures, bringing the supernatural to life in the form of tangible objects that could be revered and interacted with in ceremonial settings. Maya art was also deeply connected to the cycles of life, illustrating everyday activities alongside the grand narratives of rulers and deities. Scenes of agriculture, trade, and family life adorned pottery and carvings, reminding the Maya of the interconnectedness between their spiritual beliefs and their daily existence. In this way, art was not only a means of recording history, but also a tool for reinforcing social norms, cultural identity, and the continuous cycle of life, death, and rebirth. Through its vivid depictions, Maya art conveyed the stories of gods, kings, and common people, weaving a visual tapestry that offered insights into their worldview and way of life. It was a medium that bridged the temporal and the spiritual, ensuring that their legacy lived on for centuries. The Maya pantheon was vast, with a multitude of gods governing every aspect of life, from agriculture and the forces of nature to war and the afterlife. These gods were not mere abstract beings, but were deeply integrated into the daily lives of the Maya, influencing everything from farming to governance. The Maya saw their world as a dynamic interaction between the divine and the earthly, with the gods actively involved in shaping the cycles of life, death, and rebirth. One of the most important gods in Maya culture was the rain god, Chak. Chak was responsible for bringing the vital rains that nourished the crops, particularly maize, the cornerstone of Maya agriculture. The Maya believed that their survival depended on the favor of Chayak, and rituals were performed to ensure the timely arrival of rain. Chayak was depicted with a large, curved nose and often held an axe or mallet with which he struck the clouds to produce rain. His power over the elements made him one of the most revered deities in the Maya pantheon, especially in the agricultural communities. In addition to gods of fertility and agriculture, the Maya also worshipped gods associated with the underworld. Xibalba, the Maya underworld, was ruled by deities who were often depicted as fearsome figures. These gods of the underworld, such as Hunkame and Vukubkame, played a significant role in the mythological narratives, particularly in the Popol Vuh, the Maya creation myth. The underworld was seen as a place of trial and transformation, where souls journeyed after death. The Maya believed that the gods of the underworld were intricately involved in the lives of humans, as the afterlife was a reflection of one's actions during life. War was another domain in which the gods played a vital role. The god of war, Ar-Puch, was associated with death and destruction, embodying the harsh realities of combat. Ar-Puch, like other war gods, was invoked before and after battles, as warriors sought divine protection and favor in their military endeavors. The Maya understood that war, much like agriculture or rain, was governed by divine forces, and the outcome of battles was often seen as a reflection of divine will. The relationship between the gods and rulers was central to Maya society. Kings were not only political leaders, but were also seen as divine intermediaries, chosen by the gods to rule on earth. Rulers were often depicted in art and inscriptions as directly interacting with gods, performing rituals to gain their favor or to ensure their people's prosperity. Kings had a divine mandate, and their legitimacy was tied to their ability to maintain the favor of the gods. They participated in elaborate ceremonies, including bloodletting and human sacrifice, as a way to demonstrate their devotion and to appease the gods. This divine connection gave rulers immense power, but it also came with significant responsibility. The king's actions were seen as directly influencing the health of the kingdom and the well-being of its people. Through these interactions, the Maya rulers ensured their place in the cosmic order, linking the prosperity of their society to the favor of the gods. The Maya gods, with their multifaceted roles, were not only objects of worship, but were integral to the very fabric of Maya civilization. The Maya codices, a collection of bark paper books, are among the most significant surviving records of Maya civilization. These codices, particularly the Dresden, Madrid, and Paris codices, offer a glimpse into the intellectual and spiritual life of the Maya, revealing knowledge of astronomy, religion, ritual practices, and divination. They are invaluable artifacts that serve as both historical documents and sacred texts, providing insight into the worldviews and daily lives of the Maya people. The Dresden Codex, perhaps the most well-known and studied, is a treasure trove of astronomical knowledge. It contains detailed information about the Maya calendar, including the Tzolk'in and Hab, as well as Venus cycles, eclipses, and other celestial events. This codex is a testament to the Maya's sophisticated understanding of the cosmos, reflecting their deep connection to the heavens and the importance they placed on celestial cycles in shaping their agricultural and ritual life. The Madrid Codex is another remarkable document, offering insight into religious rituals, gods, and the practice of divination. It includes depictions of ceremonies, gods, and mythological narratives that were central to Maya life. The Paris Codex, though more fragmentary, similarly includes astronomical and ritual texts, adding to the overall understanding of Maya divination and their perception of time. The content of these codices reveals a complex and highly structured society where religion, politics, and science were interwoven. The Maya did not see these disciplines as separate, but rather as integral parts of a unified worldview. The codices show how the Maya used their calendar system not only for daily activities, but to understand the larger cycles of time and fate. Diviners consulted the codices to make decisions about everything from agricultural planting times to the timing of warfare and royal ceremonies. These books were central to maintaining the harmony between the Maya and the natural and supernatural worlds. The survival of these codices is nothing short of remarkable, given the many challenges they faced over the centuries. After the Spanish conquest, much of the Maya's written heritage was destroyed by colonial forces, who viewed the codices as pagan texts. However, a few were preserved, either hidden away or sent to Europe, where they became valuable sources of knowledge about Maya civilization. Modern scholars, starting in the 19th century, began to study these codices in earnest, deciphering the intricacies of the Maya script and revealing the depth of knowledge contained within. Efforts to preserve and decode the codices have continued into the present day, with advances in technology allowing researchers to examine the documents with greater precision. While many aspects of the Maya script remain elusive, the codices have provided valuable insights into the intellectual achievements of the Maya. They are more than just books. They are windows into a culture that was deeply attuned to the rhythms of the universe and sought to understand its mysteries through knowledge, ritual, and divine guidance. The divine status of Maya rulers was fundamental to the structure of Maya society, where kings were seen not merely as political leaders, but as sacred figures who bridged the gap between the gods and the people. The Maya believed that their rulers were directly chosen by the gods, with their authority rooted in divine sanction. This belief elevated the king to a status that transcended mortal understanding, making him the physical embodiment of the divine will on earth. The king was not only a political figure, but also a religious leader, and his actions were seen as carrying out the will of the gods themselves. Maya kings served as intermediaries between the divine and their subjects, a role that was both revered and essential for maintaining cosmic order. They were believed to hold a unique connection to the gods, especially to the powerful deities of agriculture, rain, and the underworld. This divine connection meant that the king was responsible for ensuring the prosperity of the people, the fertility of the land, and the continuation of cosmic balance. The king's authority was thus inseparable from the spiritual and social well-being of the entire community. Rituals and ceremonies played a crucial role in legitimizing the king's authority. The most significant of these rituals often took place at temples or ceremonial centers, where the king would perform acts that were believed to ensure divine favor. One of the most important ceremonies was the bloodletting ritual, in which the king, and sometimes the queen or other nobles, would draw blood from themselves in symbolic offerings to the gods. This act was seen as a necessary sacrifice to nourish the gods and maintain harmony in the world. It was a powerful expression of the king's role as an intermediary, as he gave of himself to sustain both the gods and the people. The king's divine authority was further reinforced by the construction of monumental architecture, such as pyramids and temples, which served as a backdrop for these elaborate ceremonies. These sacred spaces were not only symbols of the king's power, but also places where the divine and human realms could come into alignment. By dedicating these structures to the gods, the king demonstrated his role as the protector of both the political and spiritual health of the kingdom. In addition to bloodletting, other rituals to legitimize royal authority included royal accession ceremonies, where the king was symbolically presented as the chosen representative of the gods. These rites often involved the king's ascent to the throne, sometimes accompanied by elaborate processions and offerings. This public display reinforced his divine connection and reminded the people of their king's celestial mandate. Maya rulers maintained their authority through this potent combination of political power and spiritual legitimacy, ensuring that their rule was not only respected, but also considered sacred. In the minds of the people, the king was essential to the well-being of society, serving as the ultimate link between them and the gods. Without the king's divine connection, the Maya believed their world would fall out of balance, bringing disaster and suffering. Human sacrifice held a significant and deeply rooted place in Maya religion, serving as one of the most sacred rituals meant to nourish the gods and maintain cosmic order. The Maya believed that the gods had sacrificed themselves to create the world and sustain life, and in return, they required offerings to ensure that the balance of the universe was preserved. These offerings, often in the form of human life, were seen as essential to maintain the flow of divine energy and secure the survival of the community. The role of human sacrifice in Maya society was primarily ceremonial, taking place during religious rituals that were conducted at temples, pyramids, and other sacred sites. The ceremonies varied in complexity, but they all shared a common purpose: to appease the gods and ensure that the natural cycles, such as the seasons and the agricultural cycles, continued uninterrupted. These rituals were not seen as acts of violence or cruelty, but as divine duties carried out to maintain harmony with the gods. The Maya considered it an honor for those chosen to be sacrificed, as they were believed to ascend to the underworld and take on an important role in the spiritual world, acting as intermediaries between humans and gods. The process of sacrifice could take many forms, but it often involved the removal of the heart, which was seen as the seat of life and energy. The heart was removed from the body of the victim, sometimes through rituals involving elaborate ceremonies such as bloodletting or the use of ceremonial knives before being presented as an offering to the gods. This act symbolized the offering of life itself, a gift meant to maintain the life force of the world. These sacrifices were often performed by priests, who were seen as the direct link to the divine, ensuring that the ritual was conducted according to proper religious protocols. The ethical and spiritual implications of human sacrifice in Maya society were complex. To the Maya, the act of sacrifice was not a sign of savagery or barbarism, but a necessary part of their religious worldview. Sacrifice was tied to their understanding of reciprocity with the gods, a belief that life was cyclical and that everything human or divine was interconnected. The belief was that the gods needed to be nourished to maintain the world's balance. In this sense, the people who were sacrificed were not seen as victims, but as chosen ones who were fulfilling their divine duty. Their death was seen as an essential act for the greater good of society, ensuring the well-being of the entire community. The Maya also believed that the soul of the sacrificed individual would transcend to the underworld, Xibalba, where they would be honored and respected. In this view, death through sacrifice was not an end, but a transformation into a higher spiritual state. Therefore, human sacrifice in the Maya world was a deeply spiritual act that carried great significance for both the individual and the community, highlighting the Mayas' complex and intricate relationship with the divine forces that governed their lives. The collapse of the classic Maya cities, which occurred around 900 CE, remains one of the most debated and intriguing events in ancient history. This sudden and widespread decline of some of the most powerful and sophisticated civilizations in the Americas has sparked numerous theories among scholars, each trying to explain the factors that led to the downfall of these once great urban centers. While the precise causes remain elusive, the convergence of environmental, social, and political factors likely played a crucial role in the disintegration of the Maya civilization. One of the primary explanations for the collapse is environmental degradation. The Maya were dependent on their environment for survival, especially in the form of agriculture. The classic period of Maya civilization coincided with the height of their agricultural expansion, with intensive farming techniques like slash-and-burn agriculture used to clear the land. However, this method of cultivation, coupled with the growing population, led to deforestation and soil erosion, which weakened the land's ability to sustain the cities. As the soil became depleted and agricultural yields declined, food shortages may have led to widespread social unrest and the eventual abandonment of cities. In addition to environmental stress, social and political factors likely played a significant role in the collapse. The Maya cities were organized into independent city-states, each ruled by powerful kings. These rulers often engaged in constant warfare with one another, competing for resources, prestige, and political dominance. This constant conflict could have drained resources and weakened alliances between cities. The political system, built on the divine authority of kings, may have also contributed to the collapse. As cities suffered from famine and unrest, the authority of the rulers could have been undermined, leading to political fragmentation and the eventual abandonment of key urban centers. Religious and ideological factors also appear to have been significant in the collapse. The Maya believed in the cyclical nature of time, and their society was deeply intertwined with religious practices. Many scholars suggest that the collapse may have been influenced by a breakdown in the religious system. The construction of monumental temples, the performance of elaborate rituals, and the reliance on divine kingship were central to Maya life. If the kings and priests were unable to maintain the favor of the gods during times of hardship, it may have resulted in a loss of faith in the ruling class, further destabilizing the society. Theories about the collapse continue to evolve, and there is no single explanation that accounts for all the variables. Some scholars argue that the combination of multiple factors, including prolonged droughts, social upheaval, and shifting trade networks, might have led to the eventual disintegration of the cities. Others suggest that the collapse was not a sudden event but a gradual decline, with different regions experiencing varying degrees of disruption. The collapse of the classic Maya cities remains a mystery, but it stands as a reminder of the complex interplay between environmental, social, and political forces that can shape the fate of civilizations. Modern discoveries have significantly transformed our understanding of the ancient Maya civilization, offering new insights into their culture, technology, and societal organization. While the ancient ruins of Maya cities have long been studied, recent advancements in technology, particularly satellite imagery, have opened new doors for archaeologists, enabling them to uncover previously hidden sites and gain a deeper understanding of the Maya world. These innovations have reshaped how we view the reach and complexity of Maya civilization, revealing an even greater network of cities, trade routes, and cultural connections than previously thought. One of the most groundbreaking tools in the study of the Maya has been the use of LiDAR, light detection and ranging, technology. This technology, which uses laser light to map the ground surface, allows archaeologists to see through dense jungle canopy and uncover structures that would otherwise remain hidden. LiDAR has led to the discovery of thousands of new Maya structures, including vast city networks, roads, reservoirs, and agricultural terraces. These findings suggest that the Maya civilization was far more expansive and interconnected than once believed, extending its influence over a much larger geographical area than traditional excavation methods had indicated. Satellite imagery has also played a crucial role in mapping Maya settlements, especially in remote areas. By analyzing these images, researchers have been able to identify potential archaeological sites with remarkable accuracy. This has allowed archaeologists to focus their fieldwork on high-priority areas, significantly increasing the efficiency of archaeological exploration. Furthermore, these technologies have helped document the environmental challenges faced by the Maya, including deforestation and soil erosion, offering valuable lessons for both archaeology and modern-day environmental conservation. The importance of preserving Maya heritage has become even more evident as these new discoveries highlight the extent and sophistication of Maya civilization. As the world faces the challenges of globalization, urbanization, and climate change, protecting Maya archaeological sites has taken on a new urgency. The preservation of these sites not only honors the ancient Maya, but also offers valuable educational and cultural resources for future generations. Many of the newly discovered sites are now part of preservation efforts aimed at safeguarding these ruins for research, education, and tourism. In addition to technological advancements, there has been a growing recognition of the need to involve local Maya communities in the preservation process. Indigenous Maya people are key to maintaining the cultural heritage that is so intimately tied to these sites. By fostering collaborations between archaeologists and local communities, the integrity of the sites can be preserved while respecting the traditions and knowledge of the people whose ancestors built them. The modern-day rediscovery of the Maya offers not only a deeper appreciation of their legacy, also serves as a reminder of the resilience and ingenuity of ancient civilizations. As new technologies continue to unveil the past, the Mayas' contributions to the world through their advancements in mathematics, astronomy, architecture, and art remain an essential part of human history, deserving of both protection and celebration. The early interactions between the Olmecs and the Maya are foundational to understanding the development of Mesoamerican civilization. Though the Olmecs are generally considered the mother culture of Mesoamerica, their influence on the Maya was profound, particularly in shaping early societal structures, religious practices, and cultural expressions. The Olmecs, who thrived in the Gulf Coast region of present-day Mexico from approximately 1200 BCE to 400 BCE, laid down the groundwork for much of the cultural and religious systems that would later define Maya civilization. One of the key areas of influence was religion. The Olmecs were the first to introduce many of the Mesoamerican gods that would become central to later civilizations, including the Maya. The Olmec jaguar deity, for example, would find its way into Maya mythology, symbolizing power, strength, and rulership. The Olmecs also placed great emphasis on shamanic rituals, which the Maya later adopted and integrated into their own religious practices. These shared religious ideas, centered around the worship of nature gods, ritual sacrifices, and cosmic cycles, helped to establish a common spiritual foundation for the region. In terms of cultural traits, the Olmecs and Maya shared several visual and artistic elements that suggest a deep and early connection. The colossal stone heads, a hallmark of Olmec art, are thought to represent rulers or gods, and their sculptural style was adopted by the Maya. Additionally, the Olmec influence is evident in the development of Maya writing and calendars. While the Maya later developed their own system of hieroglyphic writing and complex calendar systems, these were likely inspired by the Olmecs, who are believed to have created the first form of writing in the Americas. The Olmecs' early calendar system, based on the sacred 260-day cycle, may have influenced the Maya's own Tzolk'in calendar, a crucial component of their timekeeping and religious life. Trade between the Olmecs and the Maya also played a significant role in their interactions. The Olmecs had access to valuable resources such as jade and obsidian, which they traded with neighboring cultures, including the Maya. These goods were not only prized for their material value, but also for their spiritual significance. The Maya, in turn, adopted the Olmecs' knowledge of stone carving and art techniques, as well as the use of jade as a symbol of status and divinity. This exchange of goods and ideas helped solidify the Olmecs' position as a cultural bridge between the early Mesoamerican civilizations and the later, more complex societies like the Maya. The Olmecs, with their profound influence on religion, art, and governance, laid much of the intellectual and cultural groundwork that would allow the Maya civilization to flourish. As the Maya absorbed and adapted Olmec ideas, they built upon them, eventually creating a sophisticated civilization that would leave an indelible mark on the history of Mesoamerica. The legacy of the Olmecs in Maya society is a testament to the enduring power of cultural exchange and the shared roots of Mesoamerican civilization. The cultural and political connections between the Maya and the Aztecs were complex and multifaceted, shaped by both direct interaction and the transmission of ideas across generations. While the two civilizations thrived in different regions and periods, the Aztecs, who emerged in the Valley of Mexico in the 14th century, inherited and adapted many cultural practices and technologies from their predecessors, including the Maya. The Aztecs greatly admired the Maya civilization, particularly its achievements in writing, architecture, and astronomy. Though they were contemporaneous with the Maya at the time of their greatest power, the Aztecs looked back to the Maya as a source of inspiration. Many Aztec elites considered the Maya to be the ancient intellectual giants of Mesoamerica. This admiration can be seen in their adoption of certain Maya practices, such as the sacred calendar system. The Aztecs modified the Maya's sophisticated timekeeping systems, including the 260-day ritual calendar, Tzolk'in, and integrated it into their own religious and societal frameworks. This shared calendar structure reflects the Maya's enduring influence on later cultures in the region. In addition to the calendar, the Aztecs adopted other aspects of Maya astronomy and divination practices. Both civilizations shared a deep reverence for the heavens, particularly the movements of the planets, the sun, and the stars. The Aztecs also embraced the Mayas' practice of tracking celestial events and cycles, which were crucial for agricultural and ritual activities. The Aztecs used these astronomical principles to time their rituals, sacrifices, and festivals, linking the cosmos with the fate of their people, much like the Maya had done centuries earlier. Culturally, the Aztecs incorporated Maya art styles and architectural elements into their own visual language. Maya hieroglyphic writing, though not directly adopted by the Aztecs, had a significant influence on Aztec iconography, particularly in religious and ceremonial contexts. Maya motifs and symbols, such as the feathered serpent and various deities, were frequently seen in Aztec art and sculpture, merging with their own artistic traditions. In architecture, the Mayas' focus on grand, monumental structures with religious significance left an imprint on the Aztecs, who built their own temples and pyramids, many of which mirrored Maya designs in both function and symbolic meaning. The Aztecs also borrowed from the Mayas' sophisticated agricultural techniques, including the use of chinampas, or floating gardens, which allowed both civilizations to maximize agricultural production in limited space. This shared innovation, particularly for urban centers built in swampy or lake-filled areas, was crucial for sustaining the dense populations of both the Maya and Aztecs. While the Aztecs deeply respected the Maya civilization, they did not directly incorporate Maya governance structures into their own political system. The Maya city-states, with their decentralized, individual rulers, contrasted with the Aztec Empire, which was a centralized, imperial state under the leadership of the emperor. However, the Mayas' influence on Aztec religion and technology cannot be overstated, and the Maya civilization's legacy lived on in the hearts and minds of the Aztec people. Through a blend of admiration and adaptation, the Aztecs inherited much from the Maya, continuing their intellectual, spiritual, and cultural traditions in the heart of Mesoamerica. When the Spanish arrived in the Yucatan Peninsula in the early 16th century, they encountered not only a thriving Maya civilization, but also a fierce resistance that spanned decades. The Maya were no strangers to conflict and warfare, and they resisted the Spanish invasion with remarkable resilience. Despite the technological superiority of the Spanish, the Maya fiercely defended their lands, culture, and autonomy, leading to prolonged struggles that are often overlooked in the broader narrative of European colonization. One of the most notable chapters of this resistance occurred during the Spanish conquest of Guatemala, particularly during the Battle of Neupetain, which took place in 1697. Neupetain was the last independent Maya kingdom, located on an island in Lake Petén Itzá. The kingdom had survived for nearly 150 years after the collapse of the classic Maya cities, maintaining its cultural practices, religious beliefs, and political structure. It was a symbol of Maya endurance and defiance against Spanish colonization. The Spanish, led by Martín de Ursúa, laid siege to Noche Petén, determined to bring it under control. The battle was intense, but despite the overwhelming odds, the Maya fought valiantly, led by their king, Can Ek, and his warriors. The siege of Noche Petén lasted several months, but the strategic position of the island and the determination of the Maya defenders made it a formidable challenge. However, the kingdom eventually fell to the Spanish due to a combination of exhaustion, lack of resources, and the relentless pressure from the invaders. This marked the official end of independent Maya resistance, and with it, the Maya kingdom of the Itzá people came to an end. In other regions, figures like Tecunumán emerged as symbols of resistance against Spanish forces. Tecunumán was the leader of the Quiché Maya during the Spanish conquest of Guatemala. His leadership and bravery are legendary, particularly his role in defending the Maya from the Spanish, led by Pedro de Alvarado. According to Maya oral history, Tecunumán fought courageously against the Spanish and, despite the eventual loss of his life in battle, became a symbol of the spirit of resistance. His death is said to have occurred in a dramatic encounter with Alvarado, and it is believed that he fell in battle, his body covered in blood, marking the defeat of the Quiche resistance. Even as the Spanish established control over most of Mesoamerica, the Maya continued to resist. Rebellions and uprisings erupted throughout the region for years, with various groups refusing to submit to Spanish rule. These rebellions were often sparked by the Spanish demands for tribute, forced labor, and the destruction of Maya temples and sacred sites. Leaders like Tecún Umán embodied the defiance of the Maya people, while their struggles ensured that the memory of their resistance remained alive for generations. Though the Spanish conquest eventually led to the collapse of the Maya political system, the resistance of the Maya left a profound legacy. The determination of leaders like Tecún Umán and the final stand at Neupeten serve as enduring symbols of the Maya's refusal to succumb to foreign domination, marking a chapter in history where the Maya people showed the strength of their cultural identity and resilience in the face of overwhelming odds. The fall of the Maya civilization marks the end of an era that had lasted for over 1,000 years. This collapse was not a single event, but a series of gradual changes that saw the once mighty city-states crumble, their political systems disintegrate, and their vibrant culture wane. While the collapse of the classic Maya cities in the 9th century remains a subject of much debate among historians, it was the arrival of the Spanish in the 16th century that ultimately sealed the fate of the Maya. As the Spanish conquistadors made their way into Mesoamerica, they encountered a fragmented Maya world, with many city-states already in decline. The northern cities, like Chichen Itza, were still powerful, but the southern cities, once the heart of the Maya civilization, had fallen into disrepair. The reasons behind the collapse of these cities are varied. Environmental degradation, warfare, and political upheaval all played significant roles. As the Maya cut down vast swathes of forest to make room for agriculture, they inadvertently triggered a series of ecological consequences that reduced the land's ability to support large populations. Combined with droughts, the agricultural economy suffered, leading to food shortages and social instability. This environmental stress was further compounded by the constant warfare between rival city-states, which drained resources and weakened political structures. By the time the Spanish arrived, the Maya had already undergone centuries of change. Their cities were no longer the thriving cultural hubs they had once been. Yet, the Spanish invasion unleashed a new wave of destruction. The conquistadors, led by men like Hernán Cortés and Francisco de Montejo, brought with them not only advanced weaponry, but also diseases that decimated the indigenous population. Smallpox, measles, and other European diseases wiped out entire communities, leaving the Maya vulnerable to conquest. The Spanish sought to impose their rule through violence, coercion, and forced conversion to Christianity, further dismantling the spiritual and political systems that had defined the Maya civilization. One of the most devastating impacts of the Spanish conquest was the destruction of sacred sites. The Maya temples, palaces, and pyramids that had once been the centers of their religious and political life were looted and destroyed. The Spanish regarded these sacred places as symbols of idolatry, and many were systematically dismantled to make way for Christian churches and Spanish-style towns. The sacred books of the Maya, the codices, which contained detailed records of their history, rituals, and astronomical knowledge, were burned. This loss of knowledge was catastrophic, erasing centuries of accumulated wisdom and cultural heritage. With the fall of the Maya civilization came the loss of their sophisticated systems of writing, mathematics, and astronomy. Although some aspects of Maya culture persisted in the form of oral traditions and small communities, the grand cities, the impressive monuments, and the intricate knowledge of the cosmos that had once defined Maya civilization were largely lost to time. The fall of the Maya, marked by the collapse of their great cities, and the brutal impact of the Spanish conquest represents the end of a remarkable era in human history, one that has yet to be fully understood or appreciated in its entirety. The Maya civilization, once thought to be lost to time, has endured through centuries of adversity. Despite the ravages of conquest, colonization, and suppression, the Maya people have maintained their identity, ensuring that their rich cultural heritage continues to thrive in the modern world. This survival is a testament to the resilience of the Maya and their deep connection to their ancestral lands, language, and traditions. After the fall of the great Maya cities and the arrival of the Spanish, the Maya were subjected to a long period of colonization and cultural erasure. Yet, even in the face of overwhelming challenges, Maya communities found ways to preserve their core cultural elements. The language, for instance, remains one of the most powerful symbols of Maya identity. Though many Maya languages were suppressed during colonial times, a significant number of these languages continue to be spoken by millions of Maya descendants across Central America, particularly in Guatemala, Mexico, and Belize. These languages are not only a means of communication, but also a direct link to the past, carrying with them the stories, history, and spiritual knowledge of the Maya people. In addition to language, Maya cultural practices have endured through generations. Traditional farming methods, such as the milpas, slash-and-burn agriculture, continue to sustain communities, and ancient forms of weaving, pottery, and ritual practices are still alive today. Maya spiritual practices, too, have persisted, with many communities holding on to their belief in the importance of the natural world and the cosmos, in line with ancient Maya cosmology. The preservation of sacred sites, often by local communities, has also been crucial to maintaining a connection to their ancestors. In recent decades, there has been a surge in Maya activism, with the descendants of the ancient civilization reclaiming their heritage and fighting for recognition and rights. Maya communities are advocating for land rights, cultural preservation, and political autonomy, often in the face of ongoing threats from globalization, environmental destruction, and political marginalization. The rise of Maya-led organizations has allowed for the voice of the people to be heard, as they call for the protection of their land, the revitalization of their languages, and the recognition of their culture on the global stage. In Guatemala, for example, the Maya have fought for the official recognition of their languages, as well as for the return of land taken from their ancestors during colonial and post-colonial periods. This movement has inspired a broader sense of pride and unity among Maya descendants, linking contemporary struggles to the ancient legacy of their ancestors. Today, Maya culture is not merely a relic of the past, but a living, evolving tradition. The resurgence of Maya identity, fueled by activism and cultural pride, is shaping the future of the people. The Maya are not only survivors of their past, but active participants in the world's modern cultural and political landscape. As the world continues to change, the Maya, through their unwavering determination and commitment to their heritage, stand as a powerful reminder of the enduring strength of indigenous cultures worldwide. The enduring spirit of the Maya civilization is evident in the cultural legacy that continues to thrive in present-day Mesoamerica. Though centuries have passed since the peak of the Maya Empire, the essence of their beliefs, values, and practices still resonate in the lives of millions of people across the region. The Maya's profound connection to the land, their intricate knowledge of astronomy, and their rich traditions of art and language are not only preserved, but continue to shape the modern world. Maya culture, deeply rooted in a sense of place and connection to the cosmos, has influenced contemporary Mesoamerican society in profound ways. The Maya's reverence for nature, especially the cycles of the sun, moon, and stars, has been passed down through generations. Many Maya communities continue to celebrate traditional agricultural festivals tied to the rhythms of the seasons, reflecting the Maya's timeless relationship with the earth. The importance of the land, especially in terms of community and spiritual identity remains central to Maya society today. Farmers continue to cultivate the same crops corn, beans, and squash just as their ancestors did, using techniques that have been honed over centuries. In addition to agriculture, the Mayas' religious and spiritual practices continue to play a central role in daily life. Many Maya communities maintain their ancestral beliefs in the sacredness of the natural world, the cycles of life and death, and the influence of divine forces. Traditional Maya rituals, often performed by spiritual leaders or shamans, are still widely practiced in many regions. These ceremonies, whether for health, harvest, or life transitions, honor the ancient gods and reflect the enduring strength of Maya religious thought. The sacred sites of the Maya, such as Tikal and Chichen Itza, are not just archaeological wonders. They remain active places of pilgrimage and worship for many Maya people today. Maya language, too, remains a vital force in the lives of modern Maya communities. In countries like Guatemala, Mexico, and Belize, millions of people still speak various Maya languages, and efforts to preserve and revitalize these languages have gained momentum. Schools and community programs are working to teach young people their ancestral tongue, ensuring that the language is not just a link to the past but a bridge to the future. The written Maya script, though largely deciphered in modern times, continues to be a source of pride and identity. The revival of Maya literacy and the reading of ancient texts are part of a broader movement to reclaim and celebrate Maya heritage. The Maya, through their resilience and determination, have overcome centuries of hardship and continue to thrive. Their perseverance is a testament to the enduring strength of their culture, which has not only survived but adapted to the challenges of modern life. The survival of Maya civilization, through its values, practices, and identities, is proof that the spirit of the Maya is alive and well, living on in the hearts of their descendants, who continue to shape the future while honoring their past. The scientific contributions of the Maya civilization continue to resonate throughout the modern world, impacting various fields of knowledge and inspiring a deeper appreciation for ancient achievements. The Mayas' sophisticated understanding of mathematics, astronomy, and the natural world laid the groundwork for many advances in science, demonstrating their intellectual prowess long before the advent of modern technology. These contributions were not only crucial to their society, but have also influenced contemporary science and academia in ways that are still felt today. One of the most remarkable achievements of the Maya was their advanced knowledge of astronomy. They were keen observers of the heavens, developing complex systems to track celestial bodies and predict their movements with incredible precision. The Maya were able to accurately calculate the cycles of the moon, the solar year, and even the movement of Venus, which held particular significance in their culture. Their ability to predict eclipses and other astronomical events was a testament to their understanding of the cosmos. The Maya calendar systems, most notably the Hab and the Tzolkin, reflected their deep connection to the stars and the natural cycles of the Earth. These calendars, along with their ability to synchronize them, provided a sophisticated timekeeping system that not only structured their daily lives, but also served religious and ceremonial purposes. The Mayas' contributions to calendar systems were revolutionary, and their concepts of time continue to inform modern calendrical systems. In mathematics, the Maya developed an advanced numeral system that included the concept of zero, an innovation that was ahead of its time. Their vigesimal, base 20, numeral system allowed them to perform complex calculations and create detailed records of their astronomical observations. This use of zero as a placeholder was a major breakthrough in mathematics and predates similar developments in other parts of the world by centuries. The Mayas' understanding of mathematics was crucial for their architectural feats and the construction of their temples, pyramids, and other monumental structures. It also facilitated the creation of highly accurate astronomical charts, which were vital for agriculture and religious ceremonies. The Maya writing system, Another significant scientific achievement was a form of hieroglyphic script that recorded historical, astronomical, and genealogical information. The written language allowed the Maya to document their knowledge and pass it down through generations, ensuring that their scientific discoveries were preserved for posterity. The intricate system of glyphs provided a detailed account of Maya civilization, including their scientific and mathematical prowess, and continues to be a subject of academic study and research. Maya contributions to science, while rooted in their specific cultural and religious contexts, have had a lasting influence on modern fields, such as astronomy, mathematics, and archaeology. The study of their astronomical observations, calendar systems, and numerals continues to inspire scholars and researchers today. The rediscovery of their achievements has expanded our understanding of the capabilities of ancient civilizations, and their contributions serve as a reminder of the timeless nature of human ingenuity and knowledge. The Maya civilization has long captivated the imagination of people around the world, evoking a sense of mystery and wonder that transcends time. Their impressive achievements in astronomy, mathematics, architecture, and writing have continued to inspire awe and fascination. This enduring mystique is not only rooted in their intellectual accomplishments, but also in the myths and unanswered questions surrounding their society. The Maya's complex history, with its dramatic rise and fall, continues to fuel intrigue, making them a subject of endless fascination in popular culture. Books, films, and documentaries have played a significant role in shaping the way we perceive the Maya. Their civilization has been the focus of numerous works that range from academic explorations to fictionalized accounts, each contributing to the mystique surrounding their legacy. From works like John Lloyd Stephens and Frederick Catherwood's early 19th century travel writings, which first brought the grandeur of Maya ruins to the world's attention, to the popular film Apocalypto directed by Mel Gibson, the Maya have been portrayed in ways that blend fact and fantasy. Films and documentaries often focus on the drama of their civilization's collapse, imagining grandiose scenarios of ritual sacrifice and the mysterious downfall of their cities. These portrayals have not only sparked public curiosity, but also perpetuated certain myths about Maya culture, such as the idea that they disappeared suddenly and mysteriously, which has been exaggerated in popular imagination. This fascination is also reflected in the countless documentaries that have been produced over the years, providing glimpses into the Maya's advanced society while emphasizing their enigmatic qualities. Documentaries often highlight the spectacular achievements of the Maya, from their sophisticated architecture to their intricate calendar systems, while pondering the reasons behind their eventual decline. The uncharted ruins, the hieroglyphic inscriptions yet to be fully deciphered, and the mysteries of their ceremonial practices have given rise to a host of theories, fueling the belief that the Maya were somehow ahead of their time. These representations have embedded the Maya firmly in the collective consciousness as a civilization full of wonder and unanswered questions. However, the myths surrounding the Maya are as captivating as their real history. Legends of their divine kings, their supposed connection to extraterrestrial beings, and their prophecies about the end of the world continue to fascinate modern audiences. The Maya's vast cities, once teeming with life and now silent, evoke an air of mystery that sparks endless speculation. Scholars and enthusiasts alike have long been drawn to the idea that the Maya knew secrets about time, the cosmos, or the human spirit that are still waiting to be uncovered. The Maya's eternal mystique endures not only in scholarly circles, but also in the broader world of pop culture, where they continue to be a symbol of lost knowledge and ancient wisdom. Their legacy is woven into the fabric of modern storytelling, inspiring new generations to explore their magnificent ruins and ponder the unanswered questions about one of the world's most fascinating ancient civilizations. The allure of the Maya civilization, shaped by both fact and myth, ensures that their story will continue to captivate minds for generations to come. Maya spirituality, with its deep roots in the ancient world, continues to resonate powerfully in modern times, particularly among indigenous communities in Mexico, Guatemala, and Belize. Despite centuries of colonial oppression and the forced erasure of their cultural practices, the Maya have managed to preserve and adapt their spiritual beliefs, blending them with modern practices while staying true to their ancient traditions. Today, Maya spirituality is not only a vital part of their cultural identity, but also a beacon of resistance, resilience, and the preservation of a rich heritage. The revival of traditional Maya rituals and ceremonies has been a crucial aspect of this spiritual resurgence. In recent decades, there has been a strong movement among Maya communities to reclaim their sacred rites, many of which had been suppressed during Spanish colonization. The resurgence includes the celebration of sacred festivals, the performance of traditional dances, the offerings to gods, and the reading of sacred texts, some of which have been preserved for centuries. For instance, in the highlands of Guatemala, Maya communities celebrate the sacred rites of the Quiche and Yucatec Maya, reviving rituals that connect them with the natural world, the ancestors, and the divine. These ceremonies, which often take place at sacred sites such as mountaintops or ceremonial altars, are seen as acts of spiritual renewal, not just for the participants but for the land itself. Equally important is the integration of ancient Maya beliefs with modern spirituality. While some Maya communities have maintained a purely traditional religious outlook, others have merged their spiritual practices with elements of Catholicism, creating a syncretic form of belief that reflects both their heritage and their contemporary experience. This blending of traditions allows Maya spirituality to thrive in the modern world, providing a bridge between the ancient and the contemporary. It is not uncommon for Maya communities to incorporate Christian saints into their rituals, alongside the gods of the ancient pantheon, creating a unique tapestry of spiritual expression. This synthesis represents the adaptability of Maya spirituality, enabling it to survive through centuries of external pressures while continuing to evolve in response to changing times. Maya spirituality today is also seen as a powerful force for environmental advocacy. Many of their spiritual teachings emphasize the interconnectedness of all life, the sacredness of the earth, and the responsibility of humans to protect the natural world. These values, deeply ingrained in their culture for millennia, are increasingly relevant as modern societies grapple with environmental crises. Maya spiritual leaders and community activists are now using their ancestral knowledge to promote sustainable practices, protect natural resources, and ensure the survival of the land for future generations. The modern-day spiritual leaders, who are often descendants of the ancient priesthood, play a critical role in maintaining the continuity of these beliefs. In a world that is rapidly changing, the endurance of Maya spirituality offers a profound reminder of the strength of cultural identity and the resilience of a people who have weathered centuries of adversity. It is a testament to the lasting power of ancient wisdom, one that continues to inspire and guide the Maya people in the modern world. The legacy of the Maya civilization is a remarkable testament to human ingenuity, resilience, and the enduring power of culture. Despite facing centuries of challenges ranging from the arrival of foreign conquerors to the disruptions of modernity, the Maya have managed to preserve their identity, their traditions, and their profound contributions to the world. Their influence continues to shape not only the Mesoamerican region, but also the broader global landscape, offering valuable lessons on the strength of human determination and the importance of cultural preservation. At the heart of the Maya legacy lies their unparalleled achievements in fields such as astronomy, mathematics, writing, and architecture. The Maya were not just builders of cities and pyramids. They were profound thinkers who crafted an intricate understanding of time, the cosmos, and the cycles of nature. Their development of a sophisticated calendar system and their mastery of hieroglyphic writing stand as enduring symbols of their intellectual prowess. The monuments they left behind, pyramids, temples, palaces, and the codices, serve as powerful reminders of their ability to integrate art, religion, and science in ways that have had a lasting impact on human civilization. But beyond their intellectual and technological contributions, the Maya also offer us profound lessons in resilience. Their ability to adapt to environmental challenges, such as the deforestation and resource depletion that contributed to the collapse of their classic cities, speaks to their strength in the face of adversity. Yet, even as their great city-states fell, the Maya did not disappear. Instead, they endured through their spiritual practices, their sense of community, and their connection to the land. This resilience, passed down through generations, continues to inspire Maya descendants today as they reclaim their heritage and assert their rights in the modern world. What the Maya can teach us today extends far beyond historical accomplishments. In a world marked by environmental degradation, social unrest, and the pressures of globalization, the Maya provide a model of sustainable living, cultural preservation, and respect for the natural world. Their emphasis on balance and interconnectedness, values central to their spiritual beliefs, offers important insights for modern society. The Maya worldview, which regards the earth as sacred and human beings as stewards of nature, is especially relevant as the world grapples with climate change and environmental destruction. The Maya have left an indelible mark on the world, not only through their ancient achievements, but also through the enduring spirit of their people. Today, Maya communities continue to thrive, preserving their languages, customs, and traditions. Their activism in the realms of cultural identity, environmental protection, and social justice ensures that the Maya voice remains strong, even in the face of external challenges. Looking forward, the Maya civilization's legacy will continue to influence future generations. Whether through the study of their ancient texts, the preservation of their sacred sites, or the living culture of modern Maya communities, their story is far from over. The Maya's contribution to humanity, both past and present, reminds us that culture is not only a reflection of history, but also a vital force for shaping the future.